Hey, welcome back, hitchhikers. You're back for another episode of The Strange Road. Bub, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Fueled up, ready to rock.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm your host, Mikey, as always, the bro host, Bub. And tonight, Stoner, no longer the loner.
Not
Sir Bro of Diz,
not
the
anymore.
prodigal son, returns,
from adventures far and wide.
making everything look and sound good as usual. So welcome back.
Yeah, he corrals us
to Master Control, Dizbro.
Yeah,
he's got us dialed in, dude.
Keeps us on tap. Look at there they are. There they are. That's it. That's Isengard. They're in the tower.
We got a lot of folks. Yes, look at that, guys. That's the behind the scenes cam.
I love that shot.
I think we're 3 shows into the new behind the scenes Master Control camera.
Yeah,
we love that shot. Something Stoner worked on, little pet project of his.
Yeah,
it's looking dope. Next thing, we got to get those guys mic'd up back there.
I know.
You know.
I know.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We're gonna get there. We got a lot of irons in the fire. We're always cooking something.
That's right. That's right. We're always trying to tinker with the show, add little things here and there. Guys, welcome everybody in the chat. What's happening? You guys ready for this one? We got an awesome show. And for everybody listening that will be listening on the audio side, we appreciate the hell out of all you guys.
Absolutely. Wherever you're listening across the world.
Yep, absolutely. And if you like this video, you like this stream, you like this episode, please share it. Hit like on this video.
Maybe you just like to hit the like button. Maybe you have an obsession with that. I got to check my doors to make sure they're locked. Maybe somebody has to check the make sure they hit the like button.
That's
Go
right.
For it.
And
that might be your thing.
Tell your friends.
Yeah.
Tell your friends and family. So
let them know.
I mean, we've been waiting a little bit for this. This episode, we've been super, super, super stoked.
I didn't think this was something like let's just go back to the start of all this when it was like, hey, you guys should have this. I was like, you're joking.
Well,
that's wonderful of
context.
You. It's wonderful that you're joking with me. Context in what way?
Of how we came across Jesus during DA and Robbie.
During DA and Robbie's first, when we went on DA Ex Machina.
Yep.
That was the first time it was mentioned. It was kind of like, okay, that's whatever. Yeah. Let me put that on my list to Santa Claus and send it off.
Yeah.
And then the second time happened with Jessica.
Yep.
With Cryptid
Jessica
Huntress.
Jones, and she said, "Oh, I'll reach out to him. He would. I bet you he'd come on your show.
I thought she was joking.
I
thought she was joking. I still thought she was joking. So it's wild.
So thank you
wild.
to all of them for putting Jesus and who
connecting
knew that
the dots.
He was a well-known Bigfoot researcher, and
I had no idea.
You know what? Let's just hop right in.
Let's do it,
ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna bring on our guest, Jesus Payan Jr. And guys, he's a Bigfoot researcher. He's an actor, stuntman. You might remember him and know him from Gonzo from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Yep.
Bub and I are huge fans of the show.
Pretty big fan.
And he's also part of the cryptid hominid genome project.
I'm interested in that too. Yeah.
Group of anthropologists and PhDs that Jesus was a part of this giant research project. So does so many different things, and we're super stoked. Jesus, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We're
that picture you have right there?
Yeah.
Of the 4 of us. If you look over the right shoulder of Nodo's, there's somebody looking at us. You can tell who it is?
I can't see from this far back.
I see
Tuco.
that.
Is it Tuco?
Oh,
shut up! Is. I can see his. I can see his tooth shine.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we might as well get it out of the way.
First question I gotta ask is, obviously he's a great actor on his side of looking and getting that intimidation across. What's he like on set? I mean, is he just a practical joker? Is he
Mr. Cruz?
Yeah. Well, when he's in character, he's pretty serious. He stays mostly quiet, except for if when he has a suggestion about a scene or something.
Okay.
But when once at the end of the day when we leave the stage, he's himself, and I didn't know. I grew up watching him in all kinds of gangster movies.
Training is he's in Training Day, right? Too. He's
Training Day. Blood In, Blood Out. A bunch of good ones.
Yep.
And he, he talks to me and he's like, "Hey, bro, what's up, man?" I was like, "Huh?" And I was like, "You sound like a Ninja Turtle," you know?
Like
And it
Michelangelo,
turns
bro.
out, yeah, for real, man. It turns out he was raised in Malibu and he was a surfer.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
You sound
so
like a Ninja Turtle.
yeah, completely different person than I expected.
I mean,
Right.
And yeah, he was cool people. We went around and he'd follow me, not follow me, but he'd go with me in Albuquerque and watch me do tattoos because I traveled around town and did tattoos on people at their houses. So he watched me doing that. We went had hot wings, all and
That's awesome.
yeah, hung out. He was cool people. He was real cool people.
That's
man,
awesome.
I mean, what does it feel like to be part of, in my humble opinion, one of the best scenes in television history? I mean, I really do believe that. When Nodos gets taken out by Tuco in the junkyard.
Yep.
I mean, and then the episode that after that unfolding and how the story of you moving the body. I mean, wow, dude, that's one of the most intense scenes ever. I mean, what was it like to be there in that moment?
Well, at the time, Bryan Cranston wasn't known for Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what Breaking Bad was.
Right.
We didn't even think it was going to get to air because it was such a the content, and the violence in it was never done before, really, for network television.
Right.
And so it was just another one of the many, shows that I'd been on didn't air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just the first few episodes or a season, and it doesn't get picked up.
Yeah.
I mean, so at the time it was just like, cool, I'm working with Malcolm in the Middle, man. You know what I mean? And then getting to work with Raymond Cruz, from all my old gangster movies. And so that just in itself was really cool. Aaron Paul, didn't know him. Never heard of him at the time.
He was an unknown.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, so when we did because he was supposed to get killed originally. He was supposed to die.
Oh, really? Jesse was.
Yeah, and Jesse was supposed to die in the first season. Yeah,
what?
But because of the writers' strike, it changed everything. Okay.
What?
The scene where Tuco's punching Nodos, it used to be the original scene was Tuco smashing his head with a car battery. Boom, boom, boom.
Wow.
But they deemed it too violent, so they went to punching.
Yeah.
And then
which is arguably more violent
in a way.
To watch somebody use their bare hands.
Yeah.
Versus I can understand taking that battery, but the amount of you know what I mean? Like, so it's funny how they tried to like fix it or make it look a little nicer, and it's just like the Rocky scene of hitting that side of beef. Just you like, ugh,
right?
Like that's crazy. Sorry, no
the
worries. AED. Yeah,
no worries. So they had a metal chest plate for Nodos when Brian is pretending to do CPR and pump his heart, and Bryan Cranston was the one that had to choose the hat and glasses for Heisenberg, but he couldn't decide on which hat and glasses. And I went over to him and I said, "Who's your resident gangster?" And he was like, I said, "Yeah." And I did Tuco's teardrop and everything. I did because I do tattoos. I draw them.
Yeah.
So I told him, I go, this hat and these glasses. I go, that's what you need. Are you trying to be a badass? Here you go. And he put them on. And he loved it. He was like, this is it. And he chose those. And
jeez, man,
that's awesome.
That's pretty amazing. You've got a mark and some pretty iconic,
total
cinematography there. I mean, that's even that little like just the sketch of him, right? Like with just the brim of the hat and the glass. Like,
how many movies I've seen Jesus in going, oh my gosh, before I knew you, I was like, that's Gonzo from Breaking Bad.
Yep.
So many movies, dude.
Yep.
You're just like, once you see that person, you see that scene, and it's still one of the most memorable scenes. There's hardly any scenes I can really remember. That one sticks out.
Yeah, and what was cool about it is that, of course, now, where we're at with the whole show and everything.
Yeah.
I have a whole different respect for being part of that.
I bet.
Wow. And it's changed my life. I ain't rich right now, but it's changed my life in many other ways.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's opened so many doors, and I'm able to, reach out to different parts of Hollywood and just be like, "Hi, it's Gonzo from Breaking Bad." And they're like, "Oh, okay, hold on." They're like,
Yeah.
"No problem."
That's awesome.
So that helps a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really honored to be able to say that I'm part of any of that.
Oh man, we're super happy for you. You couldn't have happened to a better guy too.
Right.
We've gotten to know each other a little bit, DMing some conversations. So
Well, with that scenario
great.
too, like that's kind of how things happen like that.
Yeah.
You don't know it's happening in the moment. You're like you said, you're like, oh, this is going to get canned and like it's never
Opportunity.
going to see the light of day. And it's like,
Yeah.
it takes some of that pressure off. It takes the pressure off.
Right,
If it's like, hey, it has to be this way or it's got to be this good. And you're like, we're just out here having fun, shooting what we want to do.
Right. And like when I got into Hollywood, this Breaking Bad happened right after I got to start doing acting. And I went on my first set as an extra. And by the end of the day, I had a speaking role and I was fighting Steven Seagal. Okay. And right.
Yes.
And later that night,
Seagal.
I got to fight Steven for reals at his hotel later that night. So it was just a wild day.
Wait. Okay.
Back that up. You can't just gloss over that, Jesus.
So can we do a segue on that? Can we take a side detour? So what happened? So you fought him fictitiously in the scene, and then later on okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I went to the wrong side of the set, so I was by all the Star trailers. I was supposed to be on the other side of the railroad tracks. Station or whatever.
I see.
And the first AD, saw me wandering around, and he was like, "Who are you? What are you doing here, man?" And I was like, "I'm the bad guy."
Yeah.
He told me I'm the leader of a gang. I got guys under me and stuff. And he looks at me. Makes sense. Come with me. And he takes me to a trailer. I didn't know that he thought I was Danny Trejos. I guess he had never seen Danny Trejos before.
Oh my god!
So he thought that was me and gave me Danny Trejos' trailer.
Oh my gosh!
That's how it started. That's how it started. Yeah, and then they had to, I got yelled at, and they took me to the right place. And through a misunderstanding of the casting director and the stunt coordinator, talking about a character's name, it happened to be Jesus. Jesus, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when they kept on saying the name, where's our Jesus? We got to find our Jesus. And I was like, okay. Raised my hand. I was like, yeah, I'm right here. And Steven Seagal's 6'5", so we're supposed to be in East LA, and it shows he's fighting normal sized Mexicans. It looks like he's beating up a bunch of little kids. He's giant. So I'm 6'3", and they're like, "Can you fight?" I was like, "Oh yes, I can." And they're like, "Would you mind fighting Steven Seagal?" I was like, "I'd love to," And that's when they introduced us. We talked, and I auditioned, I guess you could say, on the spot.
Yeah.
He had me improv being a bouncer at a nightclub, and I literally had done that for over 20 years already.
Right.
By that time.
Nice.
So I knew the lines real well, and he was like, "Oh, you're perfect. You're good. You got the role, And he's like, "Come to my hotel tonight so we can fight." And I was like, "All right."
Damn.
This is
And he was like, "You understand that I could kill you?"
Oh,
I was
my
like,
God.
"Yeah, that's the best part." I was like, "Imagine people are like, 'Hey, what happened to Jesus?' Oh, you ain't heard? Got killed by Steven Seagal."
Dude.
I was like,
"That's ridiculous.
That's a meme. That's an internet meme.
That's a good death story. That's a good death story." He was like, I like you, Colonel."
That's awesome.
Like, nice. So the same casting director that found me that day was a casting director for Breaking Bad later.
Okay.
So Vince Gilligan and her were friends, and he had chosen me to be Crazy 8 first. And then so I was all ready to be Crazy 8. And then my agent was like, they said, wait, they want to use you possibly for something else. And I was like, I just lost my chance.
Yeah.
Right. And then a few months later, they called me back up and they said, "We want you to be No-Dose." Okay. So I was No-Dose. And then the writer's strike happened. If you look at the credits on first season, I'm Nodos.
No
Rider strike
kidding.
happens. Yeah. We come back. They tell me that Cesar Garcia, that plays Nodos now, the scene calls for him to drag me around the junkyard. You know,
Not going to happen.
Oh,
He
right.
can't.
Physically not
Yeah,
going to happen.
Not going to happen.
they had not thought about that whatsoever until that episode came up. They didn't even think about that. So they're like, we're going to switch your characters so you can carry him around. You get to live a little bit longer. And I was like,
Yes.
That's awesome.
okay.
Yeah.
So in second season, I became Gonzo. It's in the credits. No one noticed. Nobody paid attention. And
I mean,
like,
I
the
can
fans of
honestly
Breaking
say
Bad,
I never noticed that.
You are dropping so many Breaking
I've
Bad Easter
watched
eggs
it
right
all the way
now
through
that
at least
anybody
5
that
times.
is a super fan
dude.
is going, how
my
if
mind's
they didn't
blown.
know that?
This is inside baseball, dude. For
That's
me,
what I'm saying.
this is top 2 my favorite shows ever.
Yeah.
Like I can say that without doubt.
Yeah, it's my favorite. Well, this and
Better
X-Files.
Call
This and
Saul's
X-Files,
great, too. You're great
which
in
is,
that, too.
you know, funny because Vince Gilligan did a lot of the X-Files, didn't he? He did the X-Files series
There's
itself.
so many things that he was a part of.
Oh yeah, Better Call Saul with
So good.
Bob Odenkirk has been a
We've been big fans of
Pretty big
Bob
fan of him
for a
for-
long time.
was it
he's a riot.
was it the Mr.
Mr.
Show?
Show
Him
back
and
in the day.
David Cross, yeah.
When I was
Oh,
a kid, we'd watch Mr. Show, and I was probably way too young to watch it.
he's great. I mean,
He's been around for a long time.
to that end, the casting director that's working with Gilligan, you know, on these and Friends and what have you. I mean, kudos there as well because they have a really
Yeah.
good eye.
Oh yeah.
If not in putting you in the proper role and then having to switch you around, but at least having the right group of characters that have the right, you know, charisma and energy and interaction together where when you watch it, I mean, you feel like a fly on the wall. I don't feel like I'm watching a TV show. I feel like I'm watching somebody's real life almost. Like that's why Breaking Bad got me so much because it was the whole concept of like, oh yeah, you know, so and so is a chemistry teacher. No, he really, you know, makes meth, or you know, so and so is the local, I don't know, head of the church here, and he was BTK. Like that's real. Like that's real stuff. So to me, Breaking Bad, albeit fictitious, definitely based in reality.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I think it really got people almost a little unsold.
Well, they kind of nailed the meth culture too. Which a lot of people, they won't let you get by with that. But like the meth heads and the people like Wendy, the prostitute, and like they just nailed the, you know, the tweaker vibe.
All they had to do is literally go
down the street
and just sit there and wait. Just go to your locations that they like, sit there and wait, and you'll see it.
Yeah.
It's that prevalent there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
That's so sad.
The Southwest has always had a meth issue for a long, long time. It's just everybody can make it out in the middle of nowhere. It's such vast plots of land that never end. You could be out, you know, in the desert of New Mexico, out by Chaco Canyon in an RV.
Yeah.
Nobody would know you're out there.
So are you from that area originally where you're at currently, Jesus? Or did you move into that area?
I moved into the area
of
Albuquerque specifically for the film industry.
Yeah.
You know, and but at the time I had to work, and I already had, you know, worked in El Paso, California, Colorado, a bunch of places as a bouncer, you know, for strip clubs and nightclubs.
Right.
And so that's what I was doing while I was in Albuquerque when I first moved there in the 2005-ish. And working downtown in downtown Albuquerque. So I knew that whole town. I knew all the craziest people. And then I became a federal detention officer there in Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and got to find out all kinds of interesting facts. You know, like, you know, in 1 year they had 122 megalabs that they found. You know,
good gravy. Jeez,
And then I was shooting this one film with Cuba Gooding Jr. and it was about border patrol and, you know, illegal slave trade and all that stuff happening, you know, within the cartels in Mexico. And we're out there, and I'm telling them this stuff. I'm just like, dude, I go, because we were out on the edge of Albuquerque, and I was like, you know where we're at? And they're like, no, what, where? And I was like, where all the meth labs are. And the little shack that we're in filming, there's a bunch of pickle jars lined up, and they're like, I wonder why they have so many pickle jars. And I was like, this used to be a meth lab.
Wow.
And they're like, right? And I was all, if we're lucky, we'll see one explode while we're filming. And they're like,
free pyro.
Sure enough, yeah, one did do that. One, the distance, good far distance.
They're just everywhere.
Boom.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, there we go.
That was quick.
Good catch.
That was quick.
Good catch.
Yeah,
We did
well,
have a
my
guest
bad.
that was had minor tremors once.
Yeah, earthquake over in India. Yeah, that did happen.
Tell you. Okay, there we go. I'm back. My bad.
You're good.
No, you're good, man.
We
This is
totally understand.
We're super laid
All right.
back. I mean, we see you, we hear you. This has been incredible. I mean, already I'm having a blast.
I've learned so much
awesome.
about Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
I had no
this-
idea about. I find it interesting too. What made you get into films? Like, how did you go? Hey, I'm going to go into acting.
you were
What
bouncing and
drove you
then-
to that? Yeah.
Okay, so I was well, you know ADHD.
Oh
how
yeah.
that is
Oh
for
yeah.
school.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm terrible.
So I was always in. Yeah, I was the class clown, and I couldn't concentrate for anything. I always had to acting on my thoughts.
Yeah. Can relate.
People were like, yeah, people would tell me, you should be an actor. I was in high school, junior high and stuff. They'd always say that, you should be an actor. You're funny and stuff, right? And so never thought about it. I did one play in 9th grade where I played the angry father. And we did the play in the classroom, so it wasn't like a real production or
That's
anything.
awesome.
But, yeah, other than that, I didn't really, think about acting. And when I was 16, I started working as a bouncer in Tucson, and yeah, I got really good at it. Became a bodyguard. I bodyguarded for In Vogue and a bunch of other groups back
Whoa.
then. And
Get out. That's so cool.
I love
I
it.
got to get tangled up with a Suge Knight, a bunch of crazy stuff, in Hollywood.
Dang.
And so I wasn't still not thinking of acting. I was the boogeyman. I was the scary dude. When the scary dude needed a bodyguard, they called me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that was my thing. I was just the big scary bodyguard dude, and security and all that stuff too. So I ended up opening my own business in Tularosa, here near Alamogordo, New Mexico. It was a tattoo parlor, tanning salon, art gallery.
Oh, cool.
And it was rocking, man. It was dope. But the sad thing happened. We had the biggest storms we ever had in New Mexico in 2005, and the roof caved in on my store. And the owner of the building didn't have no insurance, it turned out, and had just been charged with 75. I'm joking, 75 counts of statutory rape.
Jesus.
So he was going away.
He's a pederast.
So he was going away for no way I could have get help for
Wow.
anything that got damaged. So I lost my business. And in that same week, I found out I had a daughter. Didn't know. She was 3 years old, was being sued for child support.
Wow.
And same week, my parents decided to tell me they chose me to be the one that handles their funerals and
The executor of the
takes care of-
estate.
Yep.
yeah, all this to take care of them when they get older.
Yeah.
That was 1 week. So I was like, son of a gun, I need to learn. I need to figure something out, because if I got to do all this, I've got to, I don't want to do it struggling.
Yep.
I want to be comfortable. So I need to get a job that pays well soon. So I was thinking in my head, I was like, well, doctors get paid well. I ain't got 12 years and all the money for that schooling.
Don't
Spending
do
the
it.
lawyer thing.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, right. So I was like, I could win the lottery. So I went and bought a lottery ticket. Didn't work.
Yeah.
I was like, I could become a famous rapper. I didn't know how to rap yet. I was like, damn, okay. I was well, I get stereotyped a lot in real life, and the cops, they love me. They love me so much. Thank God for Breaking Bad, because I just like Breaking Bad.
Dude, you got to be able to pull that card for
okay.
so much.
That's awesome.
Oh man.
That's awesome.
Only in emergencies. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah. So I was like, I'll play an actor. There's no giant, Mexicans in Hollywood that can act and do stunts and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was like, what the heck? And I told my dad, I was like, hey, Dad, I'm going to become an actor. And he was like, you just lost everything. He goes, you're 30 years old now, and you have a kid. Get a job.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's a job. He was like,
no, that's a job. That's work.
yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna become an actor. I promise you, I'm gonna become an actor. And he looks at me, he was like, look, you got 30 days to become an actor in the movies with lines. He goes, or you got to come work for me, which he was the head of the sanitation department for the county. And he said, you got to start at the bottom too. I ain't giving you no favors. I was like, damn. And at the time I had a long goatee, right? And he told me, after the 30 days and you don't become an actor, he goes, you got to chop that thing off your chin and come to work. And I was, but I got 30 days, right? Like, yes, my crazy, insane son, you know? And on the 28th day, I got the phone call that I was going to be in a movie, but as an extra. I ain't tell him that. You know, I told him, oh, we got lines and everything, Pop. And yeah, it turns out I ended up with that. And so in 28 days, that's what it took me 28 days to become a Hollywood actor fighting Steven Seagal, you know? And that's how that all started.
That's pretty damn impressive.
That's awesome, man. I mean,
that's
you were highly momotivated.
I'm pretty sure I can't become a Hollywood actor or
got a kid on the way.
Seagal in 28 days or 30 days. It's not happening.
You're blessed.
I found out that I was a rare commodity in Hollywood. You know, it's literally like because I'm a professional fighter and I've had law enforcement experience and all that stuff. Yeah, a lot of there is large Mexicans out there, like in California and stuff, but a lot of them are just big and scary looking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not,
or don't have a personality that fits. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're just there,
Yeah.
And so yeah, I became really a rare commodity in Hollywood because I was a professional stuntman now, and yeah, they want me in a prison, they want me carrying bodies, they want me carrying bodies and throwing them away, whatever.
Yeah.
They just tell me, they'll call me up. Hey, Jesus, can we throw you out a window?
That would be such an awkward call. That'd be such an awkward call. Like, I'm just imagining my wife. Like, what are you doing right now? I'm calling Jesus to see if I can get him to let us throw him out a window in this scene. What? Who are you calling?
Or like when I fought John Cena, that was wild.
That's awesome.
I fought John Cena in a strip club that I used to be a bouncer and a DJ for.
Wow.
5 years before that.
All comes back around, dude. That's wild.
Yeah, dude.
It's so cool.
It is a trip.
And now it's acting full time for how many years now?
Full time. So in 3 more years, it'll be 20 years.
Wow. Yeah. Congrats, man.
Congrats, dude. That's great.
Solid. And to take such a left turn of going, you know what? Career. Taking a chance on yourself, getting a truncated timeline, going, you know what? This goatee and my talents, I'm saving this goatee and I'm getting an acting job. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's like I said, I know how Hollywood loves stereotyping, character actors, and all the hell that I've been through with society of people being scared of me in real life.
Yeah.
I knew that they'd eat it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
made a weakness a strong point,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He looks mean in the movies, but he's the nicest guy ever. You know what I mean? That's you have to act like a mean guy.
Well, but usually people that can stomp you out know they can stomp you out.
Exactly.
There's no reason to stomp you out. It's the
martial artist mentality.
Little ones that want to, throw hands to show they're tough.
You're not out there looking for trouble.
I've seen a lot of the videos of bouncers taking on the guy at the bar that wants to take on the bouncer, and it's literally just like they don't want to do anything, and then after a while they can't help just toss it. It looks like they're just chucking an apple in the street. Just there goes that person. Yep. It's like, geez, man.
Well, there's this one security guard bouncer guy in downtown. I wasn't doing that anymore because I was acting, and I threw an industry party downtown, and I was filming a movie with Gerard Butler. I was doing a bunch of stunts.
Nice.
And I invited him to my party, and the door dude, I'm up there in VIP, and one of the staff comes up and like, Jesus, the security guy at the door won't let in Gerard,
What?
Jerry. And I was like, what are you talking about? he's trying to give him a sobriety test, and saying his eyes are too red to come in, and just being a dick to him. Excuse my language.
Heck, no, you're fine.
Yes. So I go down there and I go outside, and sure enough, this little jerk, it won't let him in. He's trying to get him to follow his finger and stuff. And I told Gerard, I was like, stop, don't listen to him. And that dude, he can't. I don't know. He maybe came up to my nose, somewhere around there, maybe in my mouth, and he was like, "Do not interfere with what I'm doing." And I'm like, dude, let him in. Stop being stupid. You know what I mean? Come on. And he was all,
yeah.
I have to warn you, I'm a professional MMA fighter. Do not step any closer to me, or I will put you down.
Oh boy, here we go.
Don't do that with me, bro. I was like, I'll hurt you. Don't. I was like, for real. And he literally pulled out his MMA gloves out of his pocket.
Wait. What? He had gloves ready to do? Is that how you street fight? You first get out.
Let me get my gloves on.
MMA
quick,
approved
and then we'll go.
and apportioned gloves, and you put in your mouthpiece. And
are these 5-pound gloves or 7-pound gloves?
I would have had to stop right there. Like, this is too crazy.
Oh, it was funny as hell. So he comes up to me real close, and I was like, "Don't do it, man." I was like, "If you touch me in any way, I'm gonna hurt you real bad. It'll be quick too." And then he warned me again, about his MMA.
He's all talk.
And, he was known in that downtown as a bad dude.
Oh,
all the other security, he would bully all the other bouncers and security officers, up and down the strip.
He's a power tripper, yeah.
Oh yeah, he had something to prove. He just didn't know about me, really.
Yeah.
So he just thinks I'm just a big old, just an actor, fake dude,
Yeah.
And he comes closer to me. He butts me with his chest, and I hit him. Pop! He just crumbles into a pile of spaghetti, right? He's just laying there. And I told Gerard, I was like, dude, go in there. And he just looks at me. He was like, all right. And he walks in, and
he needed a wake-up call.
Touch me again.
Yeah, he needed a wake-up call. He needed somebody to smack him around a little bit. That's good for him.
It's the quote that'll never get old. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
I've grown from it.
Exactly.
Everybody's got an idea. Yep. Everybody's bad until they get that first shot, and then they're like, "I don't want that. I don't want to get hit. Don't do that."
Oh my God.
And I had for a couple of weeks, I had all these other security, hitting me up, and other bouncers are like, "Oh, dude, I heard what happened. Thank you so much. And somebody needed to put that."
Yeah, I bet.
Yep.
Bet.
Yeah, it was funny.
Restore the balance.
That's right.
Restore. Yep.
So right now you've got a pretty cool project going. Shift gears a little bit. We talked a little bit today on the phone, and you've got a comic book that you're working on. Tell us about that.
Yep. Well, the series is called The Multiverse of Fan Theory Madness. It's, of course, that's like from the Avengers, the Multiverse of Madness, right?
Right.
I'm really, really interested in fan theories of shows. So there's been for a long time the fan theory that Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead are connected in some way. That's as far as it goes, though. Nobody's ever put forth anything deeper, I guess you would say. And Daryl on the show, he talks about his brother's dealer saying "yo bitch" and all that stuff. And his brother's in his Ziploc baggie, gallon Ziploc baggie, after he dies, is all his drugs, and in the bottom corner is a bag of blue. And,
I see. So little Easter eggs like that they think are hidden in
there.
Wow, people go
then there's
deep,
bro. There's a scene in Walking Dead where there's a guy called the mayor. He has eye patch, right? With the governor or the mayor, they called him. But he was a bad guy, and he had a bad guy meeting with all the other bad guys, and they're saying, "What are we gonna do? So and so's dead. So and so's dead. Heisenberg's dead. So I don't know." And what was that? Heisenberg's dead, right? So there was another Easter egg there. So the fans are going nuts. So it became a fan theory that they're somehow tied together. So I'm thinking, because I love the fans, what would I be able to create that would be fun for both sets of fans?
Yeah.
So I decided to put together a small story on how they tied together and how Breaking Bad caused The Walking Dead. And that's why I called it Breaking the Dead, because they broke the dead. They came back. You know what I mean?
That's
So Breaking the
genius,
Dead.
dude.
That's awesome.
That's
I love it.
No?
But
That's great.
But it's
Yeah.
also really cool because there's so much there to work with in the conspiracy of the shows
Right.
intertwining that you can actually kind of make that connection.
You could.
And you make them lend to
Well,
each other.
all those
because,
Easter eggs are already there. There's a lot to go off.
Yeah.
You could get super
Heck
creative.
yeah. So I get to be
cool.
part of the comic book, and the fact that, of course, I wrote it. I drew 2 of the covers. The one you're looking at, I drew that cover.
Wow, dude.
And
that's so good.
yeah, so I do. Thank you. I do a lot
Remember?
of the artwork.
Well, I was asking, I was like, does he do the art? And you were like, I was not sure. I know he writes it.
Yeah.
But that's
Well,
so cool.
no, he let us know he's a tattoo artist and
Yeah.
stuff. I didn't realize that
No,
until
absolutely.
we went live. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so Lee Reese, his name's Lee Reese. He's the comic book artist that's doing all the inking, putting together the story, the board, all the panels and all that. I draw super rough versions of what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Right.
Placement areas, and he makes it happen from
Right.
that point on. Because I can draw all that, but he has all the right programs. He has all the stuff he needs. It would
Digital
take me
software.
twice as long,
Right.
Yeah.
3 times as long, and I'm doing a lot of other stuff.
Right.
Yep.
So
Work to your
but
strength.
I wanted to make sure. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I had a piece, though. So a couple of pieces of work in there that's mine, to say, so it's not people that are like, oh, he's just getting somebody else to do it for him. You know what I mean?
I don't believe it.
And, yeah. So yeah,
This is really
it's real
cool.
cool how it happens. It's exciting. I might tell you off camera what causes The Walking Dead. Just can't let the rest of the people know yet. And we're gonna have a Halloween release of the comic book on Halloween. Yeah,
That's great.
You hear that, everybody? Put that on your calendar for
That's
sure.
it's
awesome.
gonna be dope.
That's awesome.
Well, we'd love to have you on after it releases. Whenever you get a
yeah.
chance, we'd come on and chat about it. And
Definitely.
special
I'm
breakdown.
looking forward to that.
That would be so much fun.
That's so awesome.
We had somebody ask if you're a fan of the game Street Fighter, and then somebody else says Jesus is the Street Fighter.
I tell you. Just paint me green and give me some red crazy hair.
Awesome.
I'll throw some Adiukins.
I love the artwork. Like I said, I like the concept, and just the kind of the avenue of going with that fan theory and really extending out a show beyond even what the creator maybe, because it happens, right? You get cult movies, cult classics, cult shows. For whatever reason, people tie into them. I don't know if you're a Twin Peaks fan, but my God, go watch Twin Peaks.
I got the DVDs.
Yeah. We were in the depths of a strong winter one year, I think, and my wife and I discovered, I think Twin Peaks was on Netflix. They had brought it back for some reason. I started watching it, and she was just like, both like disturbed, but could not stop watching with me. And I just remember being like,
stuff.
yep, it's still snowy outside, can't do anything. Put on another marathon on Twin Peaks while we're stuck in the house. But
right,
that's so cool. I love when that happens.
Because you know how a lot of people have been saying what happened after Walt,
Right.
at the end of Breaking Bad, right? Besides El Camino,
Right.
But so people were like, oh, wouldn't that be cool? Walt Jr. took over the business and all these different things.
That
And,
would be wild.
that's what happens in this comic book.
Oh,
I let Walt Jr.
Oh, dude.
Damn.
Super secret time, everybody.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'll just say that.
Flynn.
Walt Jr. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Flynn takes over the
God,
family
dude.
business.
That's awesome.
He's one of my favorite actors on the show too.
Yeah.
He used to be I was roommates with him.
Oh,
I
really?
lived with him for a while. Yeah, that was
awesome.
funny, man. It was like one time we were in his living room and we're chilling, and he ordered us. This was a while back. It was like where I'm at, we barely have legal weed here, but we're in California, in LA, and he called up on the phone. It's called Speedy Weed, and he ordered some weed, right? And it helps calm down his cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
And I'm a medical patient too, and before that too.
Yeah.
But so we're chilling. He orders it, and they deliver it, and he opens the bag and he starts giggling, right? And I'm like, "What's so funny, man?" And he shows me the container, and it was Walter White Kush,
Oh,
right?
damn.
Shut up.
And we're smoking. And he just starts laughing again, and I'm like, "What, bro?" He was like, "So I'm Walt Jr. You're Gonzo, and we're smoking my dad.
What?
Yeah, so that was
Oh
funny.
my god, bro.
I'll never forget those days.
Oh my
Damn.
God, that's
I'm Walt
funny.
Jr. You're
That's
Gonzo.
so
We're
funny.
smoking my dad.
That's so
Oh
funny.
my God,
goodness,
dude.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
you won't forget that. You won't forget that stuff. That's
Oh,
awesome.
Yeah.
Man, people
So
in the chat are loving
my
this.
series.
Yeah, I'm
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Uh,
Go ahead.
So the multiverse of Fan Theory Madness, I'm gonna do other comic books, but they're gonna be other fan theories, that they've had. So there's gonna be other cool stuff that's out there that I've been researching the heck out of,
Yeah.
to make some other really really good stories for people to enjoy and make some of these theories realities.
That's
But
awesome.
they're still theories. They're fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have so many harebrained theories,
one.
Jesus. It's incredible.
Oh,
Bub
my
alone
God.
has at least,
I had a good one today already.
a top 50,
Yeah, and
we could list them.
And I'll say there are certain things that I'm like, man, that'd be cool if that could happen. And I kind of joke about it now. Like, if you want to invent something, first go to Google or something and just put it in there. It's probably already been made. So that's what always gets me going, is that ADD part of my brain about having an original thought, which sounds like a stupid thing, but I mean, legitimately, to have a unique original thought is so rare. Like, I want to, it feels like the Truman Show, and he's like, I want to be a great explorer like Magellan. And the lady pulls down the map. She's like, everything's been discovered.
Yeah, it's already done.
So the moments where you feel like you even have
When he's going back in time, realizing that, like, all the times that he had questions, he's adding them all
he tried
up.
to leave the island. Yeah. But that's the kind of stuff that gets me going. And I think that's why my brain does it, is because
right.
I'm okay knowing that, this has been figured out, or that's fine. Well, what hasn't been yet? Because there's still things out there to be discovered. And I think that's probably why it's not surprising, after talking to you a little bit and kind of your background and history and how you got into acting, that then we discover through a couple mutual guests that we had on the show here, and friends of yours as well, that you also do some cryptid research. You are, you're looking at more than just, say, film, right? You're not just obsessed with one area of life. Like, you have a pretty broad expanse of what you're interested in.
Yeah. How did you get involved
with
that Sasquatch researching and the cryptid, the biome project?
World.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you know ADHD, you understand that we hyper focus on things, and we will exhaust whatever information we could find on it. You know what I mean? If it takes 16 hours straight or 3 days, whatever, we won't stop until we can't find no more.
Yeah,
Mike get distracted.
Yeah, Mike's had to deal with me for a long time, so
that's how I am with my ADD. Is I get become obsessed with having to figure out something until it's my brain can say, okay, that's good enough. We can finally move on after 3 years. And you
obsess for 3 months, 3 years, and then it's done. One day it's just done, and you're like, I don't do that anymore. And people are like, no, but you always do this. And you're like, no, that was just
that was giant skeletons and giants in Ohio and mounds and earthworks. I mean, I'm not moved on totally.
Not done with it,
but I went hard. That was my big one.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely got where you.
It all ties together.
Mm.
So when I was 4 years old, I was living in England, and my mom bought a book called Mysterious World by Arthur C. Clarke. And
awesome.
I couldn't speak very well, but I could read at 4 years old. So I went through that whole book, and when I turned about 4.5, my mom and my dad and sister went to Scotland, and we went to the Loch Ness and spent 2 weeks out there camping looking for Nessie.
That's awesome.
And we didn't find her, but we scooped up some water and we figured there's some Nessie poop in there, save that. And I was already seeing, me and my sister were seeing UFOs. Our house was haunted. It was a 200-year-old house that we're living in England. So we were dealing with that. So since the beginning, I've been, dealing with all that stuff. And so it never left me. So I was in 2000 was the first time I ever heard Bigfoot physically. I had been studying in books forever, and whatever was on TV. The internet didn't exist really, in those times.
Right.
But for the average person, and after I heard Bigfoot in person, I was ridiculously, just obsessed with Bigfoot stuff, learning about everything possible. My sister worked for the police department. My mom worked for the forest department there where we were living in Ruidoso, and so I got to hear all the reports. They couldn't investigate them because it doesn't exist supposedly,
Right.
Right.
But I got to find out all the places they were, so I started researching in those areas, and I got tons of evidence, and I see UFOs too. I got a bunch of pictures and video of UFO stuff, and yeah, man, I'm involved. I don't know, just ghost UFOs, Bigfoots, cryptids, conspiracy theories,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff, And the way that I got involved with the Genome Project was because J.C. Johnson of Crypto Four Corners, he passed away. But before he passed away, he invited me to join him on this project because he had found me from being on the Falcon Project. I was on the Falcon Project too, and they chose me to be one of the field researchers, and I was like so honored because like the whole panel is all PhDs, Jane Goodall and all these amazing people.
Wow.
And unfortunately, Disney pulled out the funding at the last moment, and the whole Falcon Project went
Wow.
just ended. So because J.C. Johnson knew that I was so knowledgeable in anthropology and primates and my Bigfoot and stuff, he asked me to bring me in, and it was me, him, and the head of the anthropology department for Gallup, New Mexico, Christopher Dyer, working together and submitting the DNA samples, for that project. Yeah, then passed away. So God rest his soul, J.C. Johnson.
And you guys were picking up hair. What were you collecting along the way? And what did you find some results?
Hair samples,
okay,
scat samples, possible skin tissue samples we found from pieces of their fur ripping off with the skin, being caught on a tin shed. It was spying on one of the little Navajo ladies on the reservation, and she had this little tin shed out there, real raggedy thing. Sharp rust everywhere, and she went, "Hey, get out of here!" He took off all quick. When he turned, he stabbed himself kind of on the shoulder,
right,
and ripped off hair and tissue and flesh.
Wow.
So, yeah, there was 100 submissions. It was with Oxford University and 100 university blind submission studies. So we turned in DNA samples and tell them where it was from, what it was, to a whole bunch of different things, and the ones that we deemed credible came back as the mitochondrial DNA was human. So the mom was human. The original Bigfoot came from a human and a Sasquatch, together, and that's why they're able to get pregnant or impregnate humans or get pregnant by them. Yeah, because we're brothers and sisters, pretty much, just a lot bigger, stronger, and hairier. Yeah.
Damn, that just exploded my brain.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of the rebuttals and mainstream scientists and biologists that the big thing is well, where's the DNA?
Right.
We're going to test
where's the
this.
body?
Well, there's plenty of tests that have happened.
Yeah.
This whole project obviously is going on. And like you said, there's credible PhDs behind this. There's science at work here. What is the hang up, essentially, I guess, is a question of mine. Like, was this study taken seriously?
Not by everybody. Wasn't taken seriously by everybody. The woman, Melba Ketchum, that worked on DNA, she worked on the O.J. Simpson case. She's a real DNA specialist. But as soon as she did that, worked on this project, and said that she's seen Bigfoots too, where she lives, they tore her apart, ridiculed her.
Man.
Ruined a lot. Yeah, so it's not an issue of there not being enough evidence. There's a preponderance of evidence, but it's an issue of lack of people wanting to accept it.
Bingo.
And
you get discredited. You're a well-respected scholar, or you're a professor in a university, and your whole career could go down the toilet if you start saying, I have, mitochondrial DNA of human Bigfoot hybrids.
When did we stop wanting to make discoveries? When did
Oh.
that happen? We stopped wanting to discover things, whether it's biological or
100 years
historical, archaeological sites. We're like, we're good. We don't want any more.
The Rockefeller
Well,
Foundation.
the problem is that they have put forward a specific social structure of what they've told us is history.
Exactly.
What is and what is
Sure.
not.
Through the
And
Rockefeller
anything that
Foundation.
if anything goes against that that could affect the world's view on certain beliefs, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And they can't have it. They're trying to push, that we're just, dumb animals that happen by chance, in a million bazillion mile space and, a big explosion and all that. They don't want to hear that the Sumerian story might be true or the Bible might be true, because then they would give credence to other parts of those things and just open up Pandora's box, and the people will lose faith and trust in those departments of science and all these other,
Yeah.
Well, I think
Lose faith in institutions, which we already are.
I think that's
the
happening
media,
already.
the science, medicine,
Everything.
Pharmaceutical industries.
Everything.
We're
cognitive
everyone's
dissonance.
going.
Yep. There's a dumpster fire everywhere right now. It seems like.
Mhm.
You can't, handing over. Do you want to be protected or do you want to have liberty and live free? Because protection
Right.
brings tyranny.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah. And people tell me, aren't you worried about, them ruining your career, your acting career and all that stuff? And it's
Speaking
like,
out
well,
about
one,
stuff.
I've been doing this before the acting.
Right.
They found out about it, the public, because I'd get interviewed for my movies or TV shows, and they say, "So, Jesus Jr., what do you do between movies and film?" And I'm like, hunt Bigfoot, look for your photos, make some and they're like, "What?" Yeah.
You just
No.
little trail off. What was that, bud?
Like, is he serious?
Dude.
Hilarious.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are they gonna do? Ruin my reputation? Oh no, now I can't play murder.
As the gangster.
If anything, it only helps build your
That's
resume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
As
when I
the
say, "Don't you
drug
know I'm
dealing
Wilco?"
henchman. Yeah.
I mean it. They'll be like, "Yeah, he's crazy," So that's why and how.
Man, that's great.
So you had that project, but I think we've talked to other people as well about some stories involving you going on some of your own personal excursions and having, maybe some closer than needed encounters or wanted encounters. Have you ever been out and been like, okay, I'm actually nervous. I don't want to be in this situation in a Sasquatch environment? Or not really?
I would say one time.
Okay.
And I wasn't looking for Bigfoot either. I was with a friend. We're at my house, and where I live, it's in the middle of the desert by the missile range, and you can see every star you could imagine.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, the night sky.
Oh,
New Mexico sky is the best that I've ever seen.
So unfortunately on this night, you couldn't see any other stars because it was cloud cover.
Okay.
We went out there to look for UFOs, but then we're like, where the heck did the stars go? So we're just hanging out, walking on the gravel road that goes around our property and the other houses. And we get to the corner of my property. It's a 5-acre plot. And we hear something walk onto the gravel road in front of us. And, I know what bipedal and quadrupedal sounds like,
Right.
on the gravel road. Lived there for a long time, and I've studied and all that fun stuff. But so something with 2 feet walked on the road about 20 feet in front of us, but it was so dark we couldn't see it. You could see my house that's in the middle of the 5 acres, but the floodlights only go out so many yards. You know what I mean? So outside of us seeing that, pitch darkness, right? And it starts pacing back and forth, right? You can hear it walking back and forth across the street in front of us, and we're like, what the hell is that? We're like, oh crap, dude. We're kind of freaking out. It's after midnight, and we're in the desert.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff out there. Chupacabras and monsters and dogmen. And the list goes on.
Yeah.
Woo. So it starts going faster, walking faster, back and forth, pacing faster, like building up courage. You know what I mean? Like, you ever been to a bar and you see a guy that's getting drunk drunker and drunker until he has that. Finally has it, and then he'll run up and do it. So that's the feeling that I'm getting. I've been in a bunch of those situations. So I recognize that energy, and it's going faster and faster back and forth. And I tell my friend Michael, I'm like, dude, let's squat down, grab some rocks, and chuck them at whatever the hell that is, and maybe it'll run away, right? So we grab some rocks and we chuck them, and we didn't hit it. It's still pacing back and forth. Now faster, even more upset, right? And I'm like, shh. So I reach down again and I feel for a good sized rock. And I get up and I close my eyes, even though it's pitch dark. I close my eyes and I try to use my Jedi Force, which is just following the sound of its feet with my mind's eye. And I wind up, throw the rock as hard as I could, and I threw it so fast that it went zoop, made that noise. If you throw them just hard enough.
Yep.
And I hit it, and it screamed, "Wah!" like that.
Damn.
And we're like, "Oh,
shut
shit.
up! What?"
And we take off running to my house, towards my house, right? And there's mesquite bushes and everything, on the way. So we're going as fast as we can. Of course, at the time I weighed over 400 pounds. So to me, I thought I was going really, really fast, but it was probably like 4 miles per hour or something. And my friend Michael's kind of ahead of me. And we get closer to the house to where it's lighting up the ground. And I can see next to me is that it was a juvenile Bigfoot running next to me, but on all fours, just kind of galloping and looking at me. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Stop.
And I speed up to about 5 miles per hour. And we run up the back deck, right? It's only like 4 steps. We run up the back deck, and it runs into the deck on the right side and tackles it, and just boom. And we're trying to get the sliding door open, which is just like this. But we couldn't figure it out. It was like a combination lock that night.
Right.
We were so scared.
Right.
And it ran to the other side of the deck, boom, and tackled it again. And we finally got the door open and ran inside, closed the door, curtain. We're like, and that was the one time that I feared for myself. You know what I mean? The rest of the times, it's been more a curious and interesting situation because I could try to communicate with them because I know they're not just big primates.
Yeah,
right.
That would be the most interesting thing to me.
Yeah, they're not gorillas. They're part human. So whenever I do get in close contact with them, I try to do things that they can try to communicate with me. When I was with that night, we were submitting some of the DNA. We were in the northern, part of New Mexico and off the San Juan River. This private flying fishing place, property by a guy named Jake. And we were staying over there because he had a bunch of reports. And I ended up finding a Bigfoot, and it was in the bushes, like by the side of the canal that ran off the river. And, I was like, I heard the movement. I was like, well, it could be a cougar, it could be a cow, it could be a bear, it could be a raccoon, it could be many, many things. But what could I do that if it's a Bigfoot, it might be able to do back? No other animal can do besides a human or a Bigfoot. So I tapped 3 times, tap, 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 was, a rock, 2 rocks, doop, doop, doop. And I waited. And I did it again towards them, the brush. Toot, toot, toot. And then it did it back. Tap, tap, tap. I was like, I did it again. Tap, tap, tap. So we were doing it back and forth for a while. You know what I mean? And then the other guy came and, his cigarette hanging from his mouth and his beer. He's like, hey, man, come on, let's go this way. I think we got something good over here. And I was like,
no, you
right
don't.
here,
no,
bro.
You don't.
Dude.
Yeah, and he was like, man, stop playing around, Jesus. Let's go. Come on. And let's go back. I was like, dude, it's right here. Watch. And I did the tap, tap, tap. Nothing. Tap, tap, tap. Nothing. I'm like, don't do this to me right now, Bigfoot. And I do it one more time. Tap, tap, tap. And it goes, tap. It didn't like that guy,
Right.
And he's like, oh, yeah, he was like, oh, shit. And he just leaps off the little bridge we're on and jumps into the bushes. And you hear the Bigfoot crashing through everything. He's like, hey, man, I thought where it was sitting. It's still warm.
Oh,
like,
my
imagine.
God. Moron.
Jeez,
What are you doing?
Jeez,
Yeah. So
I mean, I don't
I
know
was
the
looking
guy,
at-
but it's like, dude.
I want to ask you about something you said with the juvenile. It's just cruising on all fours next to you.
They get down on all fours
Yeah.
from time to time. You hear,
they can
hear
run on
those
all
stories.
fours.
Yeah.
That's where I might get a little concerned when it goes all wheel drive on me.
Yep. And that's like they've outrun some of the Navajo Rangers, you know,
I
on
believe
horse.
it. Oh, I believe it.
When they're going full speed, they're on all fours.
All I can
Just
imagine
grabbing
is
her.
like the first, well, not the first, but the first Hulk with Eric Bana when he's running in the desert as the Hulk, and he's got so much momentum and he's trying to figure it out, and you can see him almost like tipping forward, and then he's just trucks faster and faster. I imagine a Sasquatch like that, like
momentum,
unimaginable strength in each one of those limbs.
Yeah. And the stride is so long.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you're like a just this spring-loaded muscle machine, like
grizzly bears. They're
like the Hulk.
They're beyond you, like
Yeah.
Big.
Well, remember this though. Okay? Remember this, guys, about the Sasquatches. Unlike humans, our arms are shorter than our legs. Sasquatches have longer arms than their legs.
Right.
So when they go on all fours, they're even. When we go on all fours, our butt's in the air.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
No, it makes a lot of sense.
It's harder
too.
for us to go on all fours. It takes more
it's
of
not-
like you do bear crawls in football. Remember we have to used to do bear crawls? Like
Once-
I
50
hated
yard,
bear crawls.
once or twice.
50-yard line,
Once or
back
twice.
and forth.
I got a couple detentions during football.
Yeah, we had to do bear crawls.
Oh man, I was a lineman, so they always made us, do it.
Linemen always had to do bear crawls.
That's hilarious.
Mhm.
Not so much.
I was a left defensive tackle.
That's what's up. Yeah, I bet you were good.
I can imagine. Yeah.
I was the only freshman that benched 350 and was on varsity. I was a big boy when I started.
Bench 350 in high school as a freshman.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Man, you would have been.
Yeah, it just got bigger and bigger.
That's
so
amazing.
that's why I was like right now. I don't think I look 300 pounds. If you see me, you would think I look like 240 or 230 in that world. But I was just thick, I guess, or something, or dense bones or whatever. But I've never seen an overweight skeleton, but I'm big bone.
Yeah. Do you have any siblings? Any brothers that?
There's one sister.
Okay, I didn't know if there was maybe a sibling
Family
that's
of
like,
Gonzos.
oh, you think Gonzo's big? I'm the big,
Yeah.
That's kind of like where we're from back home. Somebody will be like 6'4", 6'5", and
his brother's,
you're so tall.
His
and
dad's bigger than he is.
Yeah, somebody else is 6'9", 6'10", and I'm like, man, I'm struggling at 5'10", but it's all good.
There's some big fellas we grew up with.
Yeah, if I wear boots, I'm 6'4".
There you go.
I'm big for a Mexican. For sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like Danny, Danny Trejos is. You know how tall he is?
How tall is Danny?
Danny, when he was in his 40s, was 5'6".
Okay. Is he taller
now? He's
shorter.
Oh yeah. He's in his 70s now. So he's starting to shrink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So like for the Mexican cholos and all that out there, I'm a very large version.
That's hilarious. Well, you got that market.
There's some giants out there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when I was bouncing, though, I had to fight, dudes that were. There was a 7-footer I fought, a 6'8" dude I fought, a bunch of 6'5" dudes, because they all want to, fight. Oh boy, here. Yeah.
They want to test their luck.
Yeah,
test themselves.
Yeah, no, not me. I go to the punching machine where you put the quarter in and it tells you.
Stop.
Oh, that's my training. That's my,
Oh man.
I go to Chuck E. Cheese and I flex. No, that's not what you do.
Yeah. Is there any way you could take a quote unquote commercial break for about 45 seconds?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just got to plug in the phone.
No, all good.
You do what you need to do. That's absolutely fine.
We're great.
I have to adjust.
I was actually going to
chop it up.
It was funny. I was going to say something earlier. I should have mentioned it because I was thinking of this exact problem earlier, but I didn't really. I was like, you know what? He probably has a phone that just lasts forever somehow. But
real quick, while we got a second, I'm going to shout out everybody here in the chat. Jay Lamb.
Oh, in the
Counter Call Outlaw. I saw AI in there. What's up, AI boys? We got who else is in there? We got Dick Meadows.
Dick
What's
Meadows.
happening, Dick Meadows?
Necro in there.
Yep. Necro, what's happening?
Was Born Not to Run in there. I can't remember.
Necro.
Hieronymus.
Necro's awesome.
I did it.
Welcome, guys.
That looks good. That's sharp.
Okay,
I like the. Is it a dream catcher behind you on the wall, or is it not a dream catcher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a dream catcher. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yep. And thank you.
Yeah, man.
I'm proud of my native heritage. You know.
Oh, absolutely. I had a patient a few years ago when I was still in the medical field that he was Native American and he made his own moccasins and they were hand beaded. And I mean, you want to talk about the nicest, like just intricate. And I was like, just curious, because that's my nature. What would something like that go for if I wanted to buy a pair of those? He's like, yeah, like $400.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Yep.
He's like, I mean, this is just hours and hours of handwork, and just the design and patterning was awesome. Just beautiful.
Yeah, because I have really big feet, it would cost twice as much.
The $800.
I have to use 2 cows. 2 cows and 2 elk. No.
What size are those? Gonzo size. Oh,
so
I wear that size.
Exactly.
I don't know if I can hold off any longer.
Yeah. What can't you?
I said I don't know if I can hold off any longer.
Go. Don't hold back.
Some of these, I'm just itching, Jesus, to
Break
get into
free.
some of this evidence that you've collected
Do it.
over the years. Now, I do want to kind of give an overarching kind of an idea of the places that you've found these images. Where are we talking about? I know the American Southwest,
Without
the land,
doxing it or giving away too much.
without giving away too much,
kind of
but
the general
the
vibe.
territory, what type?
Mexico.
That's
High
good.
desert,
That's good.
right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. In New Mexico, we have everything. We literally have straight dunes, desert dunes, like white sands, and we have the red hills. We have full-on forests.
Yep.
We have, we have almost every type of environment within that one state.
Yeah.
So
The Ponderosa
that's
pine
really
forests in northern New Mexico are unbelievable. On the way to Chaco Canyon, it's about 6.
Oh, Chaco Canyon.
Yeah, me and my wife went there and camped there for three nights in the canyon.
Nice.
It was one of the most incredible experiences, probably of my life. But just being out there and driving up there, I mean, the stars were just incredible.
Yeah.
But it really does have it all. It's the land of enchantment.
Yep. It's exactly. I mean, literally, that it's enchanted. I'll tell you that right now. There's so much weird crap that happens in that state. Ooh, it's ridiculous. I'm in a real special place. Good and bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's spinning my brain with questions.
yeah.
So you got a lot of strangeness out there. You've talked about some paranormal growing up in, some very old houses in was it
England? Yeah.
Okay. So you've kind of always had this flow around you, but you also have that pay attention awareness everywhere that maybe that's why you're kind of tuned into it a little more. But what about Sasquatch? How were you drawn into that? How do you think, because everybody that is into it doesn't always get to experience it or, and I mean people that really genuinely want to. So do you think it's like this selective thing? Do you think it's just right place, right time?
He experienced it.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like if I want to see a Sasquatch or a UFO, because I want to see both and I haven't really seen either, but I still wholeheartedly believe it's possible. But what could I do to help myself maybe increase those chances?
For UFOs, well, that'll help a lot. But for UFOs, just look up a lot. Because the average person doesn't stay going like this for an hour straight.
Yeah.
No, rarely, right?
And being in the city kind of hurts it too.
Yeah, but the thing is, they go into the cities too.
Yeah,
they fly over cities. You just, you might say, "Oh, that's just airplane. That's just airplane. That's just airplane. I'm in the city. That's just this." No, they have lights too that blink. They'll copycat planes to disguise themselves. Sometimes, when I was living in Las Vegas, Nevada, for 1 year, I've got tons of UFO photos and footage from being out there, right over the city. I have one UFO that flew up to the top of one of the casinos, sat there for like it dropped off somebody or something, and then disappeared. It's like there's whatever we want to call them, aliens, um, fallen angels. We don't know.
Right.
They're playing the casinos too. They're all gambling and enjoying Vegas. But the thing is, you got to look up. You got to look up and do it often, and learn all the different airplane patterns, or helicopter patterns of their lights. So when you see something going, you'll know that's not a plane.
Yeah.
That's not a helicopter. And then for the Bigfoot thing, you got to know what to look for. If you go out and look for a whale and you don't know that you find whales in the water, and you never go to any water,
right?
You'll never find a damn whale.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing with Bigfoot. If you know where Bigfoot locations are, then and you know what to look for, the certain types of structures they do that don't look like structures, what they mean, which way to follow, know how to track them. Know where to when you're in a big open stance and there's one around. They're watching you somewhere. So you take your pictures in those areas, and then when you get home, look for the dark black areas in the pictures, because black isn't common in the forest besides bears and burnt fire, things that burnt with fire.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is no black. So if you see in your picture in that little area over here and it's just blackness, zoom in and brighten it and see what comes out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And once you learn how to do all that stuff, then the chances they get raised in a major way.
Yeah.
You got to put away all your beliefs and all this stuff and just let go and just follow the evidence and experiment and keep an open mind. And they can sense that. They know if you're out there gunning to shoot one. They know what guns are.
Yeah.
Like I said, they do understand English to a point. Yeah.
So this image here is a perfect example of what you just described. And how many of these images do people find after they're, maybe they, like you said, it could be just a black spot in the tree. Maybe you didn't even know was there until you're looking at your photo later on.
Well, like for here, this picture is a cropping from, I was on Turkey Canyon, still in the same mountains, but a little bit to the left and deeper by Bonito Lake area. And I found some really amazing wood structures that they had created. So I was just taking pictures of the structures. And when I got home, I was looking in the background, and sure enough, right behind the structure that I was taking pictures of was this guy or girl, and a smaller one. Or it could be a big sister and their little brother. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of times that's what happens. I get lucky because I make sure to take a bunch of snaps and look at them all and study them all. When you're in their territory, they are definitely watching you. In this actual area, that was easy 8 years ago, maybe not even more. I just recently went back to that area and found all new structures there. They've been all changed. I followed the evidence and tracked them up the mountain, got to the top of that hill, and I found teepees, Bigfoot teepees. And I yelled out to them, and I was like, "Hey guys, it's me, Jesus. I'm here to say what's up," And I always tell them that, so they recognize who it is. And I do a specific whistle, and I got the stick, and I hit the tree 3 times, pat, 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 because I knew they were somewhere around there. And I did it again, pat, 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 and I waited in like 2 seconds after the second one I did. One of a Bigfoot about, I don't know, easy 150 feet in front of me behind trees and bushes, it stomped on the ground 8 times really quickly. Boom, 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 boom.
Dude.
Oh, it tripped me out because that was the first time I heard them. I've heard of them doing that to people, but I had never got to hear it myself. So that was just 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. And
oh man,
I've got pictures. Oh, dude, it was awesome. And I was like, all right, what's up, guys? And I walked around, took some pictures, and yeah,
you've got it down to
later, guys.
You've got it down to a science.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Real.
I can drive down a highway where there's forests and I'll know where the doorway is that they use. I can see what they I guess you could consider doorways.
Right.
But I know that no matter where I go, I'm able to read their sticks, because it's like a version of hieroglyphs for them, or emojis that they use with trees to talk to each other without having to make noise.
Yeah.
To get around us.
So do you think that they have, you know,
in
is
Ohio
there like
they
a
do that. They
location
do
where
that
a certain
everywhere.
group stays, and then, you know, there's migration patterns, or is it just, what do we make of that? Do they stay in an area, or they're always moving, or I don't know, nomadic or hunter gatherer?
Some travels.
Yeah.
Some travel, but the majority of them, they stay in their territories. But you got to understand that sometimes some of their territories are hundreds of miles. You know,
fair enough.
Across.
Fair enough. And when when you're, you know, that fast and that big and that strong, you know, maybe it doesn't take you long to cover 50 miles or 100
not
miles.
At all.
Like,
not at all. They
interesting.
run that no problem in a day.
That's interesting.
In the wintertime, a lot of them that deal with serious snowfall and all that.
Right.
When the mountains get covered with snow, but not the bottom half of them, they'll go hunt and carry the carcasses up the mountain into the freezing cold and bury them up there, and it saves all their meat for the winter. You know, so they don't have to
natural refrigerator. Yeah, you get your freezer.
Yeah,
makes sense.
So a lot of them, they do stay in the same areas, but as the weather changes, they change what they're doing in that same area, or they'll go underground or into a cave more, and stuff like that. But they keep their territories just like normal tribes. This is Apache territory, that's Navajo territory, that's Cherokee, Cree, whatever. They stay in their areas.
Yeah.
They have to respect the other tribes. Yeah.
Wow. Incredible. Wow. Hey, welcome.
That's what I've researched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, some of these images are just absolutely crazy. I mean, can you set up, because I know DA and this image that's coming up, you can still see it there, Jesus, but DA, Robbie, and those guys told us the story behind the images that we're going to take a look at, and kind of set it up for us of who this person was and how this kind of came to be able to get these images.
Right. So I was doing a tattoo on a friend of mine, and he invited a couple of his friends that, like Breaking Bad, wanted to meet me and watch me do a tattoo. So this one, I call him a youngster, but he's an adult. He was just, I'm almost 50. So, anybody in their early 20s to me is a youngster.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
He's telling me, that he don't believe in Bigfoot. He collects antler sheds, all over the mountains from the elks and the deer. And he said, I ain't seen no Bigfoot, nothing. I've been up and down them mountains every which way, every year for the last 3 years. I ain't seen nothing. And I was like, well, one day you should come up with me and I'll take you and show you some things that you might not be able to explain that a human being able to do. I go, and if I can prove that to you, that you can't explain, how these things are done, and show you some other, interesting stuff, would you give Bigfoot the benefit of a doubt? And he was like, sure, okay, whatever, dude. So one day we decided to go out, and I take him out, in the late afternoon, in the mountains, late afternoon. And I started showing him all the different crazy tree structures and giant trees, being moved and twisted, and, trees interweaving each other. I mean, it's wild stuff. And I was showing them, those footprints, and I did the tree knocking, and we got responses, and he was just like, "Oh my gosh," And he's I got a brand new pop tent, man. Let's camp out tonight. And I was like, you understand that these are very large beings, creatures, and they can just pop off our heads. I go, if they want to. He was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. I've been researching that area for 15 years, and they know who I am. I bring them 50 pounds of bananas and tons of apples.
Are you serious?
To give to their whole tribe. Why am I just going to leave one thing for them?
That's
what I mean?
Awesome.
Like,
well, no wonder why you've ingratiated yourself very very well. That's the way it works.
and they know I don't bring a gun ever,
Right.
so they trust me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people are like, "What about bears and cougars and lions?" I'm like, "Well, if you know animals, if you have an apex predator in a certain territory,
The other ones leave.
the other ones, yes,
Yep.
and
They
they
get out.
are the apex to the apex max."
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so whenever I'm in a serious Sasquatch area, the only thing I'll ever see animal wise is birds, chipmunks, deer,
Yeah.
elk, you know. But 15 years, never ran into them. Outside of that, I've run into animals, you know, all the time, you know, being up in the mountains. But yeah, so we set up the tent. I go out there and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm gonna call them." And they're like, he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I go, "Don't worry about it." "Hey, Sasquatch, it's me, Jesus. I was like, "We're here to say what's up. We want you to come down and visit us. Come on down and visit us tonight."
Oh my
You know?
God.
And he's just looking at me like,
Really, bro?
Yeah. He's like, "This is what
I
I
was
brought
like-
my tent for."
yeah. And I was like, "You said you wanted to see some Bigfoot, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever, dude." So we set up the tent. Nighttime comes. Midnight comes. 1 o'clock comes. And then we start hearing footprints walking around the tent. And I'm like, "They're here," you know? And he's just like, "No, it's got to be, it's probably a bear or something, you know?" And then you see a big ass hand pressing on the tent, just a big old hand. He's like, I was like,
Get out.
know?
Get out.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm getting
And
chills.
he's like, "Oh, holy crap," you know? And it was really cold that night. It was really cold that night. So we tried duct taping the you know, there's the vent hood above your tent,
Yeah.
and then there's the actual material that goes on it.
The rain fly.
So we tried to tape. Yeah, we tried to tape it shut
Mm.
because it was so cold. We didn't want the heat to get out. But when you got duct tape and cold,
Doesn't
nothing
work.
sticks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then the Bigfoot walks around to the back. I'm sitting by a zipper door. He's sitting on the opposite side of the tent. And one of them sticks their arm underneath the tent, big old arm, and knocks him over. Ugh. So there's this giant arm under my tent now. And I put the flashlight where I think the face should be, because that's where up to its shoulder, you know what I mean? So his face should be right there. And I shined it out and I go, "No, bad Bigfoot." And it pulled its arm out. And he looks at me, he goes, "Did you just scold the Bigfoot?" I was like, "I don't know what else do I say, bro? I ain't gonna yell at it. Hell no. I ain't trying to act like I'm a badass with him." You know, I was like, I know my place. I know my place. You know, I stay in my lane with Bigfoot. You know, and that's when they started peeling back the tent cover, the vent cover.
Yeah.
They started peeling it to the side, and we're looking down inside the tent. And that's when he looked up. He was like, "Oh my God, I
Bro,
can see its nose.
this
I can see its nose." Yeah, he started freaking out, dude, real bad.
this
And I was
image
just-
is, I mean, D8, we didn't see this one, so this
I
is
don't
kind
think
of
we saw this one.
this
yeah.
is a compilation of
And that helps a lot.
various
knowing
stages
I thought
that are
they
all
were
put
looking at
together.
the front of like the.
I didn't realize it was from the top, and then when Jesus
yeah.
told me
Yeah.
how tall
I
this
thought it was
tent
at the
is.
doorway.
Now hang on.
So it's like a.
This
Yeah.
tent is how tall Jesus.
I'm 6'3", and I could stand in it, and it didn't touch my head.
Yeah,
I still had
it's
about
a nice
maybe
like canopy tent.
7 foot. Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, and you know the other guy was Kenny. He was just sitting down, you know, cross-legged underneath, looking up. So on his side of the tent, because there's 4 openings, you know, above,
Right.
and on his 2 is where they're looking in on his side down. From my angle, I couldn't see them because of the mesh, the like the screen, you know.
Mhm.
I have a flashlight. I'm at an angle, so I just see the mesh. I don't see nothing else.
Right.
He can see straight up.
He could see the
Oh, yeah.
nose and the eyes, and then he
then,
snapped this
yeah.
photo.
No,
You snapped him.
There's some heartbreaking stuff, brother. But that's actually video footage.
Okay,
Okay?
gotcha.
So I was filming,
Gotcha.
and these are screenshots
Okay.
Yeah.
that I enhanced. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I'm filming. I have my camera and the flashlight in my hand, and he's just sitting there, just like, you know, freaking the hell out. And he gets to a point where, for real, he was freaking out, man. And it got to a point. I didn't realize that the Bigfoot was one of the Bigfoots was looking at him, but quietly going like this to him, looking at him, going.
And that's what we have a photo of that, and it's Is it this one?
That's both of them. Yeah, I'm shining the flashlight at them. You can see two faces, one on the left, one on the right, and because of the way they pulled the material, there's something in between them. Some materials between them. So I was able to enhance it, brighten it, sharpen it, and the one on, since you could see the full face on the right, I wanted to know what the one on the left looked like, the full face, you know.
Right.
So that's when I mirrored the image,
version. And that's
oh, I see.
This one here. That's the mirrored. He mirrored them together.
Yeah.
I think you're. Oh
Dude,
my god,
that's strange.
Holy!
Am I wrong?
Teeth. You can see teeth.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Dude, that's
what the
fucking creepy.
No, I've not seen that picture. That's
we hadn't seen that one from DA. DA
insane.
never showed us that one.
What the?
It was smiling. It was smiling. That's a creepy.
At least it's friendly. Good grief,
right?
man.
Yeah. What kind of sounds was it making? Necro has a good question.
They were silent. They were.
They didn't make any noise. What was so? What?
The only noise we heard. This is the only noise we heard was when they first walked up to the tent.
Okay.
Right? And this was right before it reached underneath the tent. You could hear it sniff from the bottom of the tent. It went all the way sniff to the top of the tent. If it was a bear, it would only get to sniff halfway.
All right.
So
that just freaked me out even more. Just that description of it sniffing the tent like a giant Twinkie. Like, what's in here?
Yeah.
My brother's in the chat. What do you think about that, brother?
That's crazy. Yeah, like were you concerned at all during all of this?
No, I thought it was funny.
What gives
he didn't believe you?
Like,
I mean, he's been out in the woods.
Like, since you weren't a threat and you didn't have anything threatening.
But he's been out here. He's been interacting.
I get that, but I mean, still, I mean.
Well, it's because I've been in so many different situations with Bigfoot. Like, I've had a Bigfoot standing in front of me, 4 feet in front of me, just standing there, and I started moving to the left and to the right, and he would copy me. So I'm at the point where they know who I am. They seem to know my intentions. I make myself vulnerable to them openly. Right. I let them know that I make myself vulnerable.
Right.
So
you're non-threatening.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with them. They're comfortable with me. They want to come up and do something. I let them. I don't. Just like imagine Jane Goodall, how she acts around gorillas and chimpanzees.
Sure.
You know, and then knowing
respect.
I know, straight up, it goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a lot to make me scared, you know? And because I was always the big guy and looked at as the Shrek or whatever.
Right.
When I'm around them, I don't have to worry about none of that. They don't care what I look like. They don't care how big I am. None of that. So I feel like I'm at home. I'm like, oh, my friends. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
And
that's very cool.
Yeah, I've done it for years, you know, in seeing them, and they've let me be around their infants, you know. I was in like, I didn't know they were up a tree. I have pictures of 2 of them up a tree.
Yeah, there's.
I didn't know they were there.
There's more.
You know. Yeah.
This one I really like. The hand.
Oh, the hand.
So wild. I like how you put your hand, big dude.
Yeah.
Jesus, not a small guy.
Right.
For comparison to this handprint, remember earlier in the story?
I can palm a basketball. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks like a giant chimpanzee. I mean, it looks like
it's a big paw.
Ape hand almost, though. Like, look how.
How did you make the image in the middle?
Okay, so what I did was I took the outline that you see.
Yeah.
And I reversed the colors and added contrast and the darkening tool, you know, to darken it. And yeah, you can see the zipper. It looks like a palm line, but that's actually the zipper line.
Okay, that was going to be my question. That was going to be my question.
Thumb.
On the thumb portion, I thought, okay, well, that could be a joint. But then I was looking at the hand thinking, if that's where the thumb is, that can't be the hand because the fingers wouldn't work out that, you know. It,
right.
But
no,
that's what I do when I show. Interesting.
But I isolated it and changed the color so
Mm-hmm.
you can really see the palm print, pushing in and the fingers and where the thumb was. So I'll do that a lot with other evidence I do. I'll completely black out everything around the Bigfoot.
So it's like a tennis racket size hand. Like that's.
Oh yeah.
Pretty big.
Straight up, yeah.
Right,
Easily.
like
Crazy.
that's a whomper.
That's so wild.
From my palm to my middle fingertip is 9 inches.
What?
Yeah. So imagine how big that
is. Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah. That's mad.
Yeah.
I can't.
And you think these
imagine.
things are more ape-like than they are human-like? Because we've seen those renderings from DA and the fellas
Right.
that they had done where there's some Sasquatch that look really Native American, indigenous,
Right.
and look more human.
Almost like another
Some of these
species
photos that
human,
we're going to
yeah.
see coming up, they look like a gorilla to me.
Yeah.
Right.
And what do you think about that? Why in this area part of New Mexico are you finding these more ape-like Sasquatch than some of in Ohio? We have kind of standard what you would think of as like Harry and the Hendersons Bigfoot. That's
Right.
what they report.
Right.
They're not as much ape-like, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about the Sasquatch is that they're just because they are part human. They're just like us. We have short ones, tall ones, wide nose ones, nose turned up ones, big nose ones.
Yeah.
Big jaw ones, small jaw ones. Some of them can't grow hair on their face. Some of them grow hair all over their face.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
it's a full range of spectrum of their looks, and it also depends on their lineage, whichever tribe they're from. If they've ever interbred with humans, as we know ourselves, so that genome gets introduced to them, and that changes their facial structure and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So it just really depends on, I guess, quote unquote, how pure their blood is from their original Sasquatches. Yeah.
God, never really knew much about that until we talked to
I
those
just painted
guys.
them all with the same brush. for a
Yeah,
long
we
time.
didn't.
And then there's the inbreeding too. So,
Right.
that doesn't help, I'm sure.
Right.
I'm curious as to your thoughts on their overall then like structure. Again, we talked about are they nomadic? Are they territorial?
They're territorial. It's like.
Go ahead. Sorry.
What? Oh, I was just gonna say that they literally have specific territories that they don't leave. They call home. And they defend from other families of Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm.
So very primal like as well, or primitive like was same with chimpanzees in the jungles, and they get into battles and they wage war against each other. And
you watch
it's,
Chimp Empire?
yeah.
I can't.
Bro, it's
I can't.
crazy.
I
The
can't.
footage they got
I can't.
of that
stuff's too
troop
that's
is
brutal.
crazy.
Yeah.
Just ripping apart monkeys.
Oh, and they're vicious.
Yeah,
vicious,
dude.
vicious. So they
I have a
they play
picture.
for keeps.
I'll send you guys, later, of what I believe to be just a dismembered Sasquatch body in a tree hanging up. Like they displayed it. You know what I mean?
Like Predator style.
Well, right.
Yeah,
Right.
but it was there's an arm hanging. You can see the hand and the bone sticking out of the arm. It looks like the pelt from the chest or the back.
Yeah.
There's parts.
Okay,
You know what I
that
mean?
just gave me an ADD moment right there. Predator versus Bigfoot. Bigfoot saves us from Predator.
Right. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Bigfoot finally comes out of hiding, and he kicks ass.
With the
That's the thing that
Sass
a lot of
kicks
people
ass.
describe Predator style or camouflaging by Sasquatch.
right.
Right.
We've heard,
Oh, yeah.
We've heard about that.
Do you have a theory on this?
So
on how they do that, or what that's attributable to? Because I know DA's
I
got
do
his.
have theories.
Okay.
I got theories. You're familiar with infrasound, right?
Roughly. Give me a little example.
Okay, so
or
here's an
rundown.
example of here's an example of infrasound. Hold on. Me. I'm just kidding. So the elephants use infrasound. It's a very low
frequency.
Okay.
That
Gotcha.
only other animals can hear, and
Yeah.
a tiger uses it on their prey. They exude the infrasound, and it paralyzes the animal, and it can't move, and then it kills it.
Oh.
So it can actually change your mood, paralyze you, make you feel fear. It's really, really cool stuff. So that means that they know how to work with resonance. Okay. Now their fur is not like our hair. It doesn't have a medulla in theirs. It's hollow like fiber optics. So if they're hiding in a green bushes, literally their face and skin and hair reflect the green.
I see what you're saying.
That makes sense. Kind of like polar bear hair.
Yeah.
Where it's hollow and it's really not white. It's actually almost like see-through.
Right. It actually turns green in the summer because they get water in there and it grows algae and stuff.
Right.
Plankton, So the Bigfoots, if they're able to use resonance to
communicate,
affect our brains, okay, on how we feel.
Right.
Imagine if they know how to do a resonance that vibrates all of their hair on their body,
dude,
to where we can't notice it. It's literally vibrating and becomes almost invisible. It's not really invisible.
Yeah.
So that's my theory on when it gets to that level where we just can't literally see it, and we hear just branches breaking and see things moving. We're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I think that's what they're doing. They're messing with our ocular cavity and our retinas and all that stuff, vibrating at a certain rate, just like a camera, how we can't see infrared. It's there, but only the camera can see it.
Right.
You know what I mean? We can only see so much on our level. So if they're able to vibrate at a certain resonance, we might not be able to hear it or see it.
Yeah, and DA talked about them using like what he thought people mistake knocks in tree knocks. They're actually like clicking or making almost like
they're doing echolocation
out in the woods.
Instead of knocking on a tree, they're knocking their tongue. They're clicking
like a whale would almost. And he's had experiences,
or even for communication.
I don't doubt that they do that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. But like if I don't have a stick around me anywhere, okay, like to do that, and I want to do a knocking sound, I go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what he was actually talking about.
So but I know they use trees because I find the trees that they use to hit branches on.
Gotcha.
And it's specifically trees they've ripped off the bark. You'll see in the forest, you'll see an area of a tree with just missing bark. Just that little area. They're using that to hit it.
Really?
That spot. And look around and the same thing. That's why when the Bigfoots mess with you see their structures, almost every time, whatever sticks they're using, they strip all the bark away. Just like the natives do when we build teepees, we strip all the bark off the poles we use.
Right. Preserves it, yeah. What's this?
That's
you got
the little guy.
That's the little one?
This is it looks like he's waving.
If you look at the size of the needles, that's just a regular pine tree. So it's a little guy. Because that right there is a crop from. Okay, here's a picture. Say this is the whole picture. That crop is this big. Boop.
Yeah, I see the little watermark of the area that you're selecting on the photo.
So I zoomed in. I saw the little black spot, and I zoomed in, and sure enough, it looks like a little Bigfoot going, "Hey, what's up?"
I mean, it definitely looks like there are two eyes, really apparent right there, and nostrils. I mean,
freaking weird, bro.
Yeah,
that's the I hadn't enhanced that yet. I'll send you guys later the enhanced images of that and sharpened and all. It's like,
oh heck yeah,
there's a face, nose, eyes, mouth, everything. Yeah.
This
one's intriguing as all get out. This one had me freaked. Talk about this, Jesus, because we went about 20 minutes just on our pre-call today about this image.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen this yet.
Yeah. Okay, so again, I was in Bailey Canyon. It's where the majority of these photos that you're showing are from. And I was communicating back and forth, through tree knocks. I was doing whoops. When I let them know I'm there, I whoop, whoop, stuff like that. And I was hearing responses. So, like I said, when I hear any noise, whistles, responses from the grunts, whatever, I'd get my camera out, and while I'm filming, I hit the screen grabs, right? Taking shots at the same time, and I do this: picture, 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 picture,
Right.
picture, and then I do it back: picture, 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 picture. So I'm letting it know I can't see you. So wherever you are, go ahead and keep on peeking at me because I can't see you. So, but that gives themselves away because they think I can't see it, so they don't worry about hiding as much, right?
Genius.
So if you stopped and zoomed on it, it'd be like, oh God,
oh yeah,
he sees me.
He knows you found
Yeah,
it.
it'd be all
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Freezes.
So I always,
Dude,
if I
you're
know
playing
where it
head
is,
games with these things out here.
I was about to
In
say,
a
you're
way,
the first person
like-
I'm aware of that's,
Yeah.
messing with Sasquatch, Jack Link's beef jerky commercial should have you in it, Jesus. Messing with
Right,
Sasquatch,
dude?
you should be the endorsing persona for that because you're literally doing it.
We gotta get you that deal, bud.
Yeah.
Dude, I tell you. So like this other time, I'm gonna get back to this picture, but this other picture, I sent you a picture of it's a real close up, and it's the face of a Bigfoot, okay, with a pointy head. So that one, I was going through one of their structures, and I see it looking at me. Right, I can see it from the distance, and I act like I don't see it, and I turn around, and I'm acting like I'm taking pictures of this, of that. It's behind me now, and I hit selfie.
Oh.
Okay, we can find Kyle if you want
That's
to pull that
cool.
off for a second. So
Man,
we
I'll
don't
tell you
spoil the ones.
what.
I don't think I have that one in order. I think
tell
it's
you what.
back a little further.
He's
I could be
thinking on his
wrong.
feet.
Thank you, Kyle.
Jesus is. I mean, you were pulling
this
some
is-
Mission
yeah.
Impossible Tom Cruise moves of, snapping the, incognito selfie of Bigfoot in the
That
background.
one,
There it is.
Awesome.
Jesus.
That one.
This one?
That's
okay.
the one.
Yeah, tell us about this
I
one.
took-
This one freaked me out too.
So this, I took this. This was literally that afternoon before they looked in our tent. So this is one of the guys that was looking in the tent.
Okay.
So like I said, I saw it. I turned around, turned on the selfie camera, and I'm in the original picture I'll send you. I'm in the picture just looking at the camera with my eyes like, you know, I
Just
took
the big
selfie.
wide, yeah. That's funny,
Yeah,
man.
I'm just like,
But you knew
I
he was
like, holy
there
crap.
and snuck it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were like using a mirror essentially. You could see him over your shoulder.
Yeah.
Did you just sense he was there? You saw him
No, I saw it.
previously
I
and
saw
then
it.
turned around. And
You were aware he
okay.
was there. Yeah, he was setting him up for the shot, like acting like he couldn't see him. Like, oh, I'm taking pictures this way, but then hit the selfie button and he's right behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
got it.
I do want to go just travel backwards about this. We talked about your theory of this Squatch that we looked at earlier having a brand.
Bailey.
Yes,
Bailey, yeah.
And
I named-
Kyle, if
I
you bring
named
that
that
down
Bigfoot.
one more time, I can head back
Having
to
a
where
what?
we were.
A brand.
Just wait.
Yeah. See, because I did, like I said, I'm a tattoo artist, and I worked
There we
with
go. Thank you, sir.
scarification
Mhm.
and branding
Right
and
here.
all that. So I know
Oh.
Back to this. where we can-
branding. I see you. Yeah, I get you.
right.
Mhm.
So this right here in the original picture, you can't see the Bigfoot because in that area, literally, it's just dark.
Mhm.
Okay.
It looks like just a deep shadow. So this is after I've brightened the hell out of it and sharpened it real good and cleaned it up. So if you see the closer up version of this picture, you'll notice that the Bigfoot sitting like on like cross-legged, and you can see a big old shoulder. That's its shoulder, and then its bicep and tricep area. There's that white, looks like a 9
9. Yeah.
on its arm. Now, if you ever see a chimpanzee skin under the hair, they're very light skinned, gray,
Yeah.
white.
Yep.
almost, you
Yep.
know? So if you have a scar on one of them that has been raised, if it's a branding or they have a keloid scar, it's going to get dry in the wilderness, and it's going to get crusty. So it looks even more white.
Right.
So with this, because you can see its face, its little cheeks. To me, it looks like it's making an old person face going, and watch it staring at me, when I took the picture. But I didn't know where it was exactly, but I had a good idea. That's why I took the pictures, in that direction. But I noticed something that I had noticed on Patty from Patterson and Gillen filming from Bluff Creek, which I'm going to segue into something shortly after that. what I'm up to with Tate, Hieronymus. It's in the chat. Hopefully, it's
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Shout out Hieronymus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Welcome.
So I had seen that same shape on Patty's arm, and I've watched everything possible of any breakdowns and studies of Patty,
There's
and
Patty on
nobody's
the
ever
left.
mentioned. Yep, that's her right arm between her bicep and tricep. So it's exactly the same arm as mine, in the same exact location as mine, and happens to be almost exactly the same shape, but it looks a lot older. That one looks a lot older, and you can see the actual ripples in the scar on Patty's arm. Okay, so that opens up a lot of questions as to one, is it a brand? And if it's a brand, who branded them? If they branded each other, how did they get the metal to make the brand and light the fire to get it hot enough?
Yeah.
If it's not them, who the hell's branding them and why? Are they being cataloged like cattle?
Yeah.
You know? You don't know.
This is
you don't know, but we do know that.
This is a new theory for me. I mean,
this
is I'm
nobody's ever talked about this.
Never heard of it.
Like literally, I'm the only one that has brought this out, and
I mean,
it's a weird,
had evidence, pictures,
It's strange.
So I study alien abductions, and because I've had visitations, I see UFOs all my life, and it's come out in newspapers. I'm in some MUFON books about my experiences, and through my alien abduction studies, there is cases where people have seen, while they're abducted, Bigfoot's working with the Greys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my!
Or whatever color they are, at the time. So that I've heard of that. That ties together. So my images, we have that little green guy that we haven't talked about yet. It kind of makes sense why they're hanging out, because I've heard of it many a time now.
Mm-hmm.
There is.
I've heard those stories myself. Absolutely.
Yeah, there is a UFO connection. But that's what I'm saying. If you listen to the story, if you're listening to the story like of the Sumerians, the Enkidu's, Epic of Gilgamesh, they were slaves.
Yeah,
they were slaves, and
Enki and
they did get banished. Yeah, those brothers, those guys.
Enlil was the genetic scientist.
Yeah, he was a scientist, and Enki actually, he was doing the science work though, and Lil was the favored one from their dad, AI, and he was this. I guess you would say the one the Catholic and Christian know as God. That's in Lil. Enki, his half brother, we today call Satan, or Lucifer.
Fallen one. Yeah.
The fallen one. So,
and that's all the serpent mythology connected to it, and
it
brotherhood
all ties
of the
together.
snake.
So,
yeah,
and so if you got when Gilgamesh wrestled the Enkidu, because they were revolting and all that, and he lost, which was not cool to him. He got pissed off and then banished all of them to the depths of the forest for eternity, never to mingle amongst man anymore. And we happen to have a bunch of big, giant, scary, hairy, strong individuals in the depths of the forest that don't want to talk to humans.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So around the world, it's not just in one area. It's literally, they are everywhere they were working.
Yep.
They said, "Oh, you're fired. You're
fired.
You better go hide out.
You're fucking fired.
Right? You're fired." And to me, it all ties together. People don't understand that how much of the different mysterious, strange of the world.
Yeah.
Like you'll have UFO researchers. Only thing they will accept is aliens and UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
You got some Bigfoot researchers. Everything's Bigfoot.
It's all Bigfoot.
Then you got some ghost people. It's all your ghosts.
Yeah.
And so forth. So
we
on.
like it all. It's all connected. Lost civilizations. I always say all of those things interweave and connect. Yep. Ancient history. Yeah. Shamanism.
That's why I research them all.
Mm-hmm.
I research all of it. From ancient history to, our, anthropology, prehistoric times.
Yep.
I used to work at Natural History Museum, giving tours to all from kindergarten up to college, explaining the natural history of the world. So I learned that first, in
Yeah.
Egypt and all that fun stuff before I even got to the level where I had PhDs coming to me asking me questions
Yeah.
and wanting to see my research. So I worked really hard. I don't have no special letters after my name, but
Yeah.
the guys that do want to know what I know.
Dude, that's amazing.
I
That's
mean-
so cool. Kudos to you, brother.
Sometimes you
Tuco's
got
my
it.
boss.
Tuco's henchman. Oh my god,
That's
dude.
too funny.
And always goes back to it's all connected, man. Well,
See right here on
With-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, and I was just gonna say, with Patty here, I just pulled up a Google stock or a Google image of Patty, but you had something pointed out, and I added this to the slideshow.
Right. Yeah, that scar's on her arm right there on the upper right arm. It's like if you look at the clearest shots of her, you'll
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah,
Not
that's-
just one frame where you can barely see it sort of in one frame. No, it's there.
Right.
That's on her body.
right.
And yeah, it's really cool. So another video, if you go to my channel Breaking Bigfoot, on the top two last videos, it's been about a year since I uploaded new stuff because I have uploaded a lot of stuff. There's
Yeah.
over 70 videos. You guys
You
wants
sure
to learn
did.
all this.
Yep.
Right.
It's all on there, guys.
So right, so this one I did of Patty in the last couple videos was her musculature, and I was able to enhance when she's walking away her back and calf the to show a specific muscle group in the back, right in the middle, the lower delta, the lower trapezius, and the only people that you ever see that muscle show are literally Mr. Universe and Mr. Olympia, Arnold
Mhm.
Schwarzenegger, and these guys. They turn their back to you and then they spread their wings as hard as they can and flex as hard as they can,
Right.
and then you can see that muscle flex.
Mhm.
On Patty, she's just walking
Ripped,
and
hanging out.
ripped. Yeah, that muscle's just like, and her calf muscle too. I was able to break it down, the muscular structure, all the stuff that
Yep.
they would not worry about 1969 or
Right.
back then to do stuff like that. And of course,
Yeah.
boobs, giant nipples. That's why would you do it?
Oh my god, dude!
I've
Jesus
watched
is
a
the best.
lot about that, trying to fake the Bigfoot stuff, right? Like, it was a guy or a person in a suit. Do you know how
That would
tall
be
they'd have
so
to be and how
hard,
much they'd have to
dude.
weigh to be able, like,
And how
you can't fake
how buff
physics.
they'd have to.
Right. You can't fake
Yeah.
physics, right? And the physics to create those footprints and the dermal ridges. And,
Yeah.
yes, there have been fakes.
Exactly.
Don't get me wrong. There have been fakes, but those are
Yeah.
easy to look at and go, this is why they're fake.
Yeah. That's
You know,
exactly.
We got a question
take
in the
her-
chat.
what's that?
Sorry,
sure.
we have a Tim from the Bigfoot Influencers asked, Jesus, have you chatted with our mutual friend Doug? Is that Hijack?
How'd you check?
Hajacek about this?
Yeah, Doug Hijack.
Hijack.
I check. Sorry.
I had it right the first time.
Yeah.
I check. Sorry.
No, me and Doug are really good friends. We're good friends, and we talk a lot on the phone a whole bunch of times. And I've shown him all my stuff, and yeah, he trips out on it. And anything that he has come up with new or technology, he hits me up and lets me know. And we're working on a project in the future of me and his work together. So yeah, I definitely do get to talk to Doug.
Awesome.
I had a thought earlier too, and I just got back to it, and I'm glad I didn't lose it because you know how that goes. Sometimes you're like, that's never coming back again.
Right.
With what you said earlier about how you're out in the woods when there's a Sasquatch around, there's no other apex predators around. So
Right.
if you want to detect if a Sasquatch is somewhere, you look where apex predators are not, where they typically would be. So if you could go out and
Exactly.
somehow
The
tag all of
habitat's
the
there, yeah.
tag all of the bears and pumas and wolves and whatever that would generally fight over these territories, and you go, hey, they're gone. It's kind of like there's a analogous story of killer whales eating great whites, And
Yeah.
when they did this one time specifically, they were, just tearing apart this great white. There was another great white that was tagged, and it could sense that this happened from I don't know how many miles away from the blood and whatever. And they said every shark within that vicinity hauled ass and went the other direction and got out of there and went as deep as they could, as fast as they could to get away, because they were like, we're going to get torn up if we don't move it. So, it definitely has some credence to that too. I thought that'd be interesting. That we could make a Bigfoot tracker.
Right? Imagine this, okay? So on the Navajo Res, to give you an idea of its strength, okay? I ain't even mentioning about when it's pulling full-grown trees out of the ground.
Oh my God!
Okay? Not dead. Okay, live trees. So
Send them my way. I've got some bushes and roots and weeds that I need. Give me that Bigfoot strength.
Yeah. Excuse me. So this is when I filmed the Sasquatch walking across the field on the Upper Fruitland Navajo Reservation, and the people I were giving a ride to, I let them take my car, and I just jumped out and went after it, And so while I was out there, before I got all the way to where it was, there were some houses on the right side, and the dogs were barking crazy, and the owner comes out, and he was, about probably 30-year-old young man, and he was like, "What's going on?" And I told him, "I'm chasing one of the hairy boys." On the reservation, it's not a big deal. It's normal. They're that known there on the reservation.
Oh my God!
They call them the hairy boy. And there's Big Mama, one of the moms of a couple of them that is always seen around. So, so I talked to him, and I was like, "Hey, have you had any problems around here with them?" Because there was a bunch of houses, not a bunch, but some houses on the other side of the river that were abandoned now because of the Bigfoots. They were causing so much, problems. They left. So I asked him. He's like, "Yeah, I see him here and there." He was neighbor down the way. He hit me up yesterday, and he said that he came outside to find his horse dead. That the Bigfoot had ripped off its hind leg of a horse.
Oh God!
Ripped off the hind leg.
Jeez.
Now try to just buy a damn chicken, a live chicken.
Exactly.
Chicken, try to pull off a chicken's leg.
Oh no!
Without using a butcher knife.
Yeah.
Now imagine a horse. Holy crap! You know what I mean, dude? So
much force.
If a grizzly. Oh man, dude. So I don't care if it's a grizzly or not. Okay. Bigfoots have opposable hands.
Yep.
Right.
And they can literally
grab.
Oh, they can flip over a bulldozer, dude. A big giant cat. You know what I mean? Bulldozers, they can flip over. They can throw 55-gallon drums of oil. They can toss them around like footballs. And it's not a problem. They can literally uproot trees, pick them up, turn them upside down, and jam them in the ground.
Oh my God.
They're that strong. So when I get people, "Oh yeah, man, but they ain't gonna be able to fight a grizzly. You know how big grizzlies are?" And it's like, yeah, dude, I know how big grizzlies are, and I know how scary they are, and they're big claws, and they beat the crap out of each other, and it's scary as hell, and no humans are gonna do shit to them. But Bigfoot, they're scared of Bigfoots. Bears, they don't want none.
Wow,
they should be. I mean,
so that's why, in my experience, I've never seen any other predators in Bigfoot territories. Hey, I could be wrong. I'm sure there's guys out there like, "Well, I was out hanging out with a Bigfoot drinking a beer, and man, there was bears and cougars." I don't know. I wasn't there, so I'm just going by what my experiences are, and that's what my experiences that I dealt with. Like I said, my mom was with the forest department, so I did a lot of work, with them, and understood animals, and took all the classes on bears and all the stuff that they had to offer. So, I know what I'm talking about.
Right, right. Well, and you've been out in the wild enough too, right? Like that's part of it. Getting your eyes, your ears, your bearings, your senses, your awareness. It takes a while, because if you're not out there a lot, you really don't know what a lot of the noises are. You can't discern, was that a tree knock? Was that, something else manipulating that, most people.
I'm a tracker, so.
Yeah.
But you're saying most people
just, they might even hear it. And to them, since they don't have that awareness, like, oh, it's just It's just another noise of the woods because they kind of can hide that noise within the sounds that naturally occur too. So,
Oh yeah. This person will hear a bird. I'll hear a Sasquatch imitating a bird.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I've definitely heard those stories for sure.
They imitate.
I've heard Sasquatch talk. Oh God, yeah.
The
They're the
vocalizations.
masters.
Yeah, it's like a
Dude,
language.
it's insane.
Yeah.
Like there's there's multiple cases where people had their kids, with them on their camping, and they have their kids on the little kids playing, and they called their kids, said, "Hey, Johnny." The mom said that at some point, right? So the Bigfoots are such good impressionists that they will identical sound like the mom, and they're in the forest though, and they'll say, "Hey, Johnny, come here." And the little boy, the baby, will walk out there and disappear and never be seen again. You know what I mean? So and like in my documentary on my channel, Tully Creek Bigfoot, I have Bigfoots, like 4 of them at least, whistling back and forth to me. And then when I'm showing one of their structures, it's like a little hut. I call it a structure. And then one of them, I didn't hear it audibly myself at the time. Okay. But one of them says bush, correcting me about what I was describing while filming. And when I went back to watch it, editing, adding all the sound, marking all the sound points.
Yeah.
I hear bush. I'm like, what the hell?
That's weird.
Yeah, dude. So like multiple times I've heard them actually audibly say words. They have a language, and it's very reminiscent of Native American languages.
Mm-hmm.
They use their own language. They've been watching us for hundreds of years, camp and talk and gold mine and all kinds of stuff. So they know a lot of words.
That is interesting. If they're out there in the darkness, eavesdropping on campfires and people out in the woods for 200 years, I mean, if they're mimicking people, they absolutely are picking up language.
And they teach.
I never thought about that.
They obviously have oral tradition in their history. So think about this, though. These guys have been around so long, they've watched the human civilization rise and fall over thousands of years. Okay? So they know their history and they know ours and they know how we are, and they teach each other that in a major way. So when people say, "Why we found a body?" There's a reason why.
They wanted you to find it. You would find it. They don't want you to find it.
Oh yeah. And if they've been told by whoever that you better not be mingling with the humans, and you're not allowed to tell them where, what's really going on or what you are, or we're going to kick your butt,
Overlords.
Yeah, I'd keep that shit. Yeah, I'd keep that shit a secret too.
So we had
avoid humans.
We had a question in the chat. Any theories on why? Great question. Why they don't just band together and take us over, or they try
wipe
to
us out.
Yeah, wipe us out, or teach us a lesson, or all the deforestation.
Because
are they
don't have to, because we destroy ourselves.
Boom.
Over and over. And what would they want to do what are they going to do in their cities? They don't want it. They don't care about that stuff.
No.
They just want to be where they're at, where they've been for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
Right. They're just watching us right now. The civilization's going to fall apart again.
Yeah, it's like
and then it's going to get built back. They're just waiting for the next, the Kali Yugas. I don't know if you've ever studied the Vedic.
Oh, and when that does happen, then they'll come around more, because it won't matter then. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Right.
They walk on. When I lived in Las Vegas, some of the homeless people that lived under the city will talk about the Bigfoots would cross underneath the whole city through the water irrigation ways where homeless people are living at nighttime to get to the other side of the desert. They'd walk right through the city, but underground. And they would describe, they're huge, they stink, but they never bother us. We don't bother them. They just walk through in the middle of the night.
Okay, that research needs to happen now.
Wouldn't that be something?
Get into those tunnels.
Get some trail cams down there. I mean, that's a dangerous spot. You're dealing with homeless people and Squatch.
Right.
That's a cocktail of extremities.
Yeah.
Extremities.
Extremities.
Oh yeah, Tate Hieronymus. Tate Hieronymus.
Yeah.
We're doing an expedition in Bluff Creek. It's called BC-19.
Okay.
The expedition in July, late July, early August, and we're going to be trekking that whole area of Bluff Creek and shooting the documentary. It's going to be really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, congratulations. Hieronymus in the chat. That's great stuff.
Good luck with the excursion on that. I hope you guys have a safe trip and get some
historic BC-19 expedition. Everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now there is
gonna be dope.
A couple more images that I want to go through, and I know we've got it's getting a little bit late, but we're not quite there yet.
No.
There's still some rocks we need to uncover here.
I think he's got more than we can uncover the entire night, but
yeah, like I said, there's more.
Yeah,
so much more that, and again, they're going out on another expedition, so there'll be even more evidence beyond this.
Yeah,
soon too. Right. So
I love it.
This next
right there, this picture right here that we're looking at.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that Bigfoots do go in trees, especially the juveniles, but even the full-grown ones, they jump in trees. And they will use trees, knock it down, and interweave them through four more trees or 3 trees, and the pressure that it creates by bending those trees and sticking it through, they're able to stand on without it breaking and watch farther, see farther. Now, this one right here we have right here is a juvenile. It's climbed up this tree and it's sitting on the branch. There should be another image closer up or no?
I might have missed that when I put it in the slide.
Or this one just could be enlarged, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think the one on the right, is the enlarged. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you look closely, there's actually, it looks like a little person, solid black.
Oh yeah.
Little person sitting with their feet hanging, just like this.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was
looks like a guy having his lunch on the end of one of those
photographs
of the iron workers.
Yeah, exactly.
Scrapers.
Old Squatch is just taking a break.
Taking a little. Hey, got my lunch pail and my thermos.
I'm really kind of shocked because my impression has always been that they're, and again maybe it's because you do have such a knack for it, but that they're super hard to find, get on camera, get a photograph of something where it's not like, man, that's so.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's pareidolia or but you look at something like this, it's like, no, that's not just a camera malfunction. It's not, it holds up and visually is kind of just stunning.
Like, I mean, and the person getting the evidence is credible,
right,
as well, and has Jesus has so much experience and the respect of anthropologists and all these folks. So it's like
question though, because we talk all the time about being a enthusiast or an endorsement of cryptids or UFOs or this is usually not something that anybody wants to do because it doesn't add to your reputability. If you're a scientist, a PhD doctor, whatever, have you found being a proponent and vocal speaker about this, do you get strange looks from people that know that you do this? Do they think, oh, he's a little crazy? Or once you start, because obviously, like we said, once you start talking to you about it, it's very apparent of your methods and your history with it. But someone that maybe has that kind of like that look of like they think you're crazy. What is that conversation?
Probably don't care.
A while back.
Okay.
A while back, that happened a lot, because people, they just look at me, they're like,
discredit you. Yeah.
You really believe in that?
Right.
There's more than one. A lot of people really think there's only one Bigfoot, individual
that ever existed in Seattle.
The asexual, never dying,
up in Washington,
lone gunman of the Bigfoot hide and seek world. Yeah.
Exactly. So as the years passed and it became more mainstream, now when I run into people and talk about it, they are more excited because it's more accepted now. So now they'll either have a story to tell me about a friend or themselves. They're just, I guess, because of Breaking Bad and all the stuff I do, it's like a double excitement for them to get to tell me something or hear my stories. So they're just like, cool, oh, cool,
Yeah.
oh, cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, that's
So
how we would be
it's
if we met
changed.
Jesus on the street. Like, dude,
It's-
we're all ears.
Yeah, it's completely different.
I would have
Like
to
I
say,
went to
yeah.
Yeah.
If I met you and I was like, "Oh my God, I
Walmart.
love you from Breaking Bad," and then you started like blowing my mind talking
Oh,
about
I would be
Sasquatch and UFOs, you could probably start a cult right then and there, and I would be your first member.
I'd be your manager.
Sign me up. Put me in a robe. What
I'd
do we
be
can wear? Do
I'd
we
be
get
the
hoodies?
fundraiser.
Yeah.
It's
I will start
fun.
right now.
Build a
fundraising.
commune.
I went to Walmart a couple weeks ago, and I was in line. I got to the cash register, and this guy was there, and he says, the cashier, and he looks at me. He's like, "Are you the guy that found Bigfoot?" And I was like, "Yeah, you could say that." And he was like, I knew it. You're that dude, huh? And you're on Breaking Bad, huh? And I'm like, "Yep, I'm that guy." And then he goes into just there's people in line, and he's just fanning out, Bigfooting out, and yeah. So it's just a trip, dude, when it happens now, and it happens a lot more often now, for sure. Because of YouTube and my channel, and
I
I've
believe
been
it.
on finding Bigfoot.
Right.
I was the UFO expert for was it Monuments? Was it Monuments at the Mystery at the Monuments?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was TV show.
Yep.
Yeah, I was the UFO expert for the Socorro incident. I've been on a bunch of TV shows for all this stuff. So video was it Caught on Video?
Okay.
Paranormal Caught on Video. That show.
Yeah,
And
nice.
so like it's out there. You know what I mean? And people
Yeah.
are just like, "Oh, you're that dude."
Yeah.
So
That's
it's either
cool, man.
they're recognizing me. I get recognized for three things. Okay, Breaking Bad, and I'm kind of Better Call Saul with that. Two guns, because I tell Mark Wahlberg to suck my chicken, so I'll get the occasional "You're that suck my chicken guy," right? And then the Bigfoots.
Oh shit.
Suck my chick.
Yeah,
God dang it, man.
That's great. Oh,
good
man.
times.
Dude, that's awesome. Now,
I love it.
I want to I don't want to build this up, but I want Stoner to
Right.
take this image and bring this up because it's queued up, it's ready to go. And let's just count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jesus, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
What
It looks
the
like
ever living hell is this?
yeah,
I wanted to save this
Looks
for
like
last.
a gray but with green skin and red eyes, which also has been called a reptilian. Apparently, it was hanging out with the two Bigfoots at night.
It's the same
And
pet.
again,
That's
same
what,
night.
Yeah.
same night, same tent. And I mirrored the image because you could only see half of its face in the picture. So I mirrored it and I saturated the colors, and his face was green. The eyes are red.
Bro.
What can I say?
This disturbed me when I first saw it. It really gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, it's strange as shit.
It's real. It's real, man. I've seen these in the gray ones. I've seen the gray ones with black guys in person because of my visitations and stuff. Some of my visits, like I said, came out in like the El Paso Times. I had these neighbor kids. I was living on the edge of Las Cruces. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the neighbor kids, they call me the UFO guy because I would always tell the stories about the Anunnaki and UFOs and all kinds of stuff to the neighborhood kids out front in the yard. And they came banging on my door one day, trailer, boom, 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 UFO guy, boom, boom, UFO guy. And I opened the door, and my roommate was with me, and we're like, "What do you want, you little boogers?" And they're all 7, 8, 9 years old. The little group of Spanky and the kids, Spanky and the gang, and they're pointing over me, and they're like, "There's a UFO over your house. There's a UFO over your house." And I'm like, "You crazy little, you stop being silly, go home." And that's when I noticed their parents were in the dirt road street, and they're looking up too over my house. And I'm like, "Ah, damn." And I step out the door and I look over. There's a UFO over the house. It was going white, spinning, and as soon as I saw it, it shot over to the Las Cruces Mountains and turned into 3 lights.
Oh wow.
Mi Vida Loca dots, that
Yeah.
same configuration.
Yep.
And they just start spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. And they do it for like an hour. And the kids' parents, they, it's starting to get dark, and they look at him, they're like, Jesus, that's really cool, but we're gonna go have dinner now, okay?
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks. Okay,
Bye.
And yeah, we had some really weird crap happen that night.
That's wild.
Another story, but 3 days later in the El Paso Times, on the left side of the page, was a long article saying Air Force says UFO reports only weather balloon. Of course, they said that. And my uncle, one of my uncles, he was a 911 dispatcher in El Paso, and I called him up, and I didn't want to lead him, lead what I'm saying to him. So I just said, "Hey, Uncle, a few days ago, by chance, did you get any weird calls to 911?" And he was like, "That's right." He was, "I don't know how I forgot to tell you." As soon as we started getting the calls, I thought of you. He goes, all 911 lines were jammed in El Paso, Texas, Las Cruces, New Mexico, and Anthony, Texas, which are all a little triangle, on the other side of the mountains. All their lines were jammed with 911 with UFO reports of exactly what I was seeing. And so it affected, 3 cities, what they saw. And they're like, oh, yeah. So like a lot of my sightings and my experiences are actually seen by
verifiable with recordings
right.
in 911 report. I mean, it reminds me of the UFO sighting over Lake Michigan where the Doppler radar controller that night was pinging this thing. They had reports that were verified. The last piece was him 25 years later coming out on Unsolved Mysteries, the new Netflix reboot, and basically came out and was like the whole thing. He could have, back then, his career would have been ruined. He never came out until now and has all these people that are like, oh my God, that whole time I saw that. I know I saw this.
Right.
And he had the evidence to prove hundreds of people all over that saw this. And they had the 911 dispatch recordings.
Right.
They had it all.
That's what's tough, though, is when you take away that credibility and you don't give that backing, people start going, did I really see that? Is that what it was? No, it probably was probably was a weather balloon, or probably was just a plane, or I don't want to really, get myself ostracized
Right. So this one time, I had a MUFON investigator interview me for some sightings that I had. And it was about a 4-hour interview. And I let him know that if I talk about them a whole bunch for a long period of time, I usually will see a UFO or get some kind of strangeness, weirdness, that night. And he accepted everything else that I had said. But when I said that, he was like,
right.
So when you talk about them, they show up, huh? You're like the UFO dog whisperer, whatever. And I'm like, no, it's not every time, but the majority of the time something weird happens, or I'll see a UFO later, Like I'm just saying. He's like, well, I think I'll end the interview now. He's thank you for your time. You take care now. You hear? And he was this little old man. He was like 80 years old. His name was D. Greg. And so I was like, okay, dude, whatever. So I went home. Me and my mom ended up going to get some burgers at the local, burger joint where we're living. And we're driving back to the house. It's evening. And my mom and my sister had seen UFOs being chased by F-22s earlier that year. And so we're looking over the mountains, and a little peach-colored orange light appears. And now we're in dusk. It's more dusk now. And my mom goes, hey, look. She goes, that's like the ones that me and your sister saw, but there was 2 of them, and then turned to 2. And then they multiplied to 3 in a perfect line, okay? And they look like peach ovals on their sides, okay? And I get on the phone and I call up that investigator, and and his wife answers, and she's like, hello. And I was like, I need to speak to D. Greg. Please, can I speak to him? And she's like, oh, honey, D, he's settled in for the evening and just relaxing now. He's really tired. And I go, ma'am, it's a UFO emergency. And she's all, oh dear, Greg, get over here right now. It's a UFO emergency. And he gets on the phone. I was like, it's me, it's Jesus. It's happening now, man.
Jesus.
There's 6 of them. Now there's 8 of them. It multiplied all the way to 12 of them in the line.
Whoa.
And he's like, are you taking pictures? I was like, no, I'm talking to you with my phone. And then they all disappeared. And I was they're all gone now. And he goes, oh, well, thanks for calling me. The next time try to take some pictures.
Yeah.
And I was like, I promise I will. I was okay. You take care of that. So about a week passes, and I get a phone call from him. He says, Jesus, I believe you. I was like, what? He goes, I believe your story. I was like, so you didn't believe it before? Right? I was like, why do you believe me now, huh? He goes, well, we got a report from Las Cruces woman, which is on the complete opposite side of the mountain range that I was facing. And she made a report, and we checked and double checked if there was any way she knew you, and there's no way she knows you. She reported the exact same thing that you were describing as while I was on the phone with you. He goes, so I believe your story. I believe you, and I wanted to know if I could put you in my book. Story cool. And
interesting
your visitations. Yeah, so
wow.
I've had verification multiple times. Same thing with my Bigfoot stuff. I've been with people. When I see them and take pictures too. So
right.
Yeah, I'm not just the lone gunman. Just
right.
making up stories and stuff. Yeah.
No, I mean, like I said, to me, totally credible.
No, yeah,
everything I'm hearing is, it's people make up shit. It happens. There's people that are dishonest. There are people that want attention. It does happen. But this is talking to DA, talking to Jessica, talking to Robbie.
Right.
Those guys being blown away by all of this information that Jesus has shared on their show.
Mm-hmm.
There's only it adds up.
My brain is like
your cup's
cracked in
full.
half. Yeah, I mean,
your cup's getting full. I can see it. Bob has this look on his face when there's
I'm just trying to digest
an overload
of
strange.
I'm just thinking about every different anecdote.
We're not sleeping until 4 or 5.
Yeah,
at least a.m. tonight.
I'm happy I've got a couple slices of pizza in the fridge yet because I'm going to eat those later.
I mean, this has been absolutely incredible. I mean,
he's got everything.
I know. This is
new intercontinental heavyweight champion of
Jesus.
The
may be the heavyweight
Jesus
champion.
Payan Jr. just entered the dodecahedron of cryptid MMA and UFOs.
I tell you,
pile drive.
What's really strange is that not until like the last year have people actually been talking about what I have.
Yeah.
Evidence wise, it's been ignored for a long time, and only I'd say, intellectuals, people in the world of academia have been paying attention.
Yeah.
But the rest of the Bigfoot world, they're just going like this, and they just want to talk about their evidence.
Yeah.
And who they want to say is fake. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's what it does. It turns into a lot of infighting, and it's funny because when we started all this and doing the podcast, we're kind of just open book people. We like what we like. We don't really look at anybody as a competition. We're here doing our thing. You're there doing your thing. It's not about are you winning it. The only winner loses against yourself in most things, right? Yeah, that's the real metric. So I don't look at other things that way. But to your point of the whole no, I'm right, or this person's right, or they've the only ones with the correct evidence. Okay, if you're so correct and you're so convinced about it, then there should be no debating it, and you should be able to shut everybody down with your evidence. So if that's the case, go ahead. So it's talk's cheap. Do the walking. And you've done a lot of it, You've done a lot of adventuring, a lot of self-exploration, researching.
Starting to work together and through podcasting and these shows, and you have people writing books and connecting people, and through that, I think you guys can share through conferences.
Well, you can't do it all yourself.
Hey, check this out. Check what I got on this last expedition. We were over here, and right now they have a huge investigation in Adams County, Ohio, near Serpent Mound, and a lot of that stuff's starting to come out right now. We just did a was it Strange Happenings article, or I threw it in there for next week or something, but it's Bigfoot's huge. People want to know about it. People want to
I think it's at a
figure
boiling point.
This shit out.
Maybe they'll actually
It's been too damn long.
acknowledging it. Maybe there'll be some
I think
acknowledgement.
they will. And
if that happens, then they are going to start announcing aliens next.
Jesus, final words. I want to give you the floor to promote anything you got coming up. Final words to our audience, where we can find you. The floor is yours, sir.
All right. So you can find me on Instagram at Breaking Bad's Gonzo, and after the bad part of breaking, there's a Z, not a S. So Breaking Bad's Gonzo on Instagram. You can reach out to me through my email, which is breakingbadsgonzo420@gmail.com.
Right on.
But on my email, it's an S, not a Z.
Okay.
Just to make it confusing. But the other way is through YouTube, my channel, Breaking Bigfoot. I answer every single comment. I don't care how many there is. I answer every single comment.
That's stellar.
As do we.
Yep.
Two questions, If there's no question, it's just a cool comment. I'll like and throw some Bigfoot feed or something, there.
Yep.
I've got my comic book coming out, Breaking the Dead. We're gonna have a Halloween release for that. I'm working on a music video right now for Santa Fe Fashion Week. I wrote a song. I made an album too. I eventually did learn how to rap and sing and stuff.
Nice.
So I made some music.
What does this guy not do?
We're gonna be. There's a lot that I haven't done. I just don't know about it yet.
Right.
But, so I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff. I'm back in. I'm doing film still. I'm going to be in Washington next month to do a lecture there at a Bigfoot conference, and I'll be advertising that on my Instagram. So. On YouTube, so just if you watch my YouTube and Instagram, you'll see the dates and times and all that fun stuff. But keep an open mind. Don't throw away the bathwater or the baby with the bathwater. Keep listen to other people's evidence. Research. If you don't believe people can find Bigfoot and stuff, get in the field. Look yourself. You want to see UFOs? Look up a lot, nighttime and daytime. You just got to pay more attention. You're going to find nothing if you're not looking for it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Words of wisdom.
Absolutely.
Look up, get out in the field. Non-believer.
It's not going to just happen.
Go have your own experience.
Yep.
Now, Jesus.
Watch my videos.
Yes,
for sure.
Honestly, I ripped through them when we found out about all this from DA and them. I went to
I've
Breaking Bigfoot. Remember that day we went through so many. It's packed full, and it's a great channel. Go check it out. Go support. Jesus Payan Jr. Everybody.
Subscribe.
Yes, and subscribe.
Please do.
Man, we thank you so very, very, very much.
This was fantastic.
Like I said, don't go anywhere. We're gonna come back and say a proper goodbye to you. We're gonna outro the show, but we'll be back, dude. We're gonna be back, and we'll say goodbye to you the proper way. Jesus Payan Jr. Everybody, holy
the man,
shit,
that was awesome.
Unbelievable.
Stellar.
Thank you. God, that was a great show. Bub's cup is full and spilling over at this moment.
I'm already like, he doesn't know it, but again, he's gonna be like, I feel like I know those guys. Jesus is gonna be walking around. It's not gonna be Sasquatch. It's gonna be me and Mikey out there hiding out to like start getting some of the, because I want to go somewhere and do something like that.
Yeah,
I really do.
I do too.
And I want to do it where,
dude, boom.
There we go.
Boom.
There we go. That's
and
solid. That's done.
Cryptid Hunter said she'd take us out.
I would love to go back out there. Go to White Sands. Yes.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
And thank you to everybody that tuned in tonight for this stream. Thank you to everybody that's going to listen to this on all the podcast platforms. And, you
guys rock.
If you love this,
Thanks for
if you
the
like
questions.
this episode, share it.
Yeah.
We had some awesome content creators in here. Go check out Necromechanimal, all the edits he does for our show and shows like Hollow Sky, Joe Rogan.
Yep.
Last podcast on the left. Check out that art. And we had the Bigfoot influencers. Tim was in here tonight. My brother John stopped by to say hello. He had some great questions in there. And we got Countercult. Countercult, you got that shout out. Countercult Outlaw. Who else did we have in here tonight? Werewolf. I think that's somebody that
I like that name.
yeah, I think that's a Jesus fan.
Hell yeah.
We had AI pop in here. We appreciate you guys.
It was wild.
Jay Lamb,
We had a big
or
crowd
not to
going
run.
through there.
Thank you all for being here. You guys can follow us at The Strange Road on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Check out the Facebook group, The Strange Road Hitchhikers.
Yep.
Like, share, and subscribe. This has been awesome. I don't think we left anything out.
Thanks, Kyle and Diz.
Yeah, there you go. Disbro.
You guys are the best.
Stoner.
As
thank
always,
you so
every
much.
single show.
Killer show.
They
awesome
help make
production.
us sound and look great.
And I think we're signing out, guys. Peace.
Till next time.
Take care, guys.